I had to get into the technique of loving myself. My meditations came before anything. Writing my thoughts down, like that was a priority to me. I started taking care of myself more, working out. That's something I never did. I gained 30 pounds. It changed me for the better, and it's built my strength up. It's given me more strength to deal with things when they don't go my way. Before, it would tear me down.
Hey everyone, welcome back to On Purpose, the #1 health podcast in the world. Thanks to each and every single one of you that come back every week to listen, learn, and grow. Now, I've been looking forward to this conversation for a long, long time. Not only am I talking to the one and only Big Sean, one of the most successful rappers out there, multiple #1 topping chart singles, albums on the Billboard. But what I'm fascinated about him is his dedication to personal growth, his journey with meditation, his focus on well-being, physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. And today we're going to talk about all of that right here on Purpose. Please welcome Big Sean.
Thank you, man. That was a great intro.
Well, it was from the heart, man. I feel it. Like when I started listening to your music, before I knew about your personal journey, I loved your music, and then I saw you start talking about what you were just speaking about, the books you read, the mindset you have, the journey you've been on personally. And I thought, this is someone, even before we were connected, I was like, this is someone I really want to get to know, because it's not easy to talk about the things you talk about.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be vulnerable in your position with the career you have, in the way you have. And so I can't wait to dive into it today. But I was going to start with something a bit different, because we have a few more things in common.
Yeah.
I was reading somewhere that you said that in another life, you might have been a film critic.
Yeah.
and I love that, because I love movies. So I was going to ask
me too, man.
you.
I pick them. I don't pick them apart. Sometimes lately I've been watching movies just based on how it makes me feel. Like I take my critical hat off, and I'm just like, I enjoy the good story, or, like the hero's journey, or just like, great pieces, great shows, great plots. You feel me?
What's been a movie that you feel has like defined the way you think, or moved you in the way that you're speaking about right now, that left a lasting impact?
Forrest Gump, for sure. That's one of the ones that like struck me hard. The Matrix. I had like a special relationship with the Matrix because Neo's name was Mr. Anderson. So that's my last name too. So it always like struck a chord with me. Definitely, like I'm a big nerd. So I love like Batman. I love all Marvel, DC.
Me too.
Anime, Dragon Ball Z, Star Wars, Star Trek. That's something that really my brother kind of got me into early on. But what I connected with, like everything about those things, like Dragon Ball or like Star Wars, they all have to deal with like that power within. And I feel like that's why I connected to it so much. It would be like against all possible odds, they would dig deep and go to a new level that people, not only did not expect them to, but was quote unquote impossible. You feel me?
Yeah.
So things like that just always connected with like, and I'm still the same way. It's like, you think you're going to outgrow something, but I never outgrew it. And, I don't care what people think. Sometimes, my girl would be like, nerd. And I'll be like, yeah, whatever. Though.
It's who I am.
It's who I am.
Yeah, it's who I am. People don't expect it because, you're fashionable and you got swag, and then all of a sudden you start talking about movies.
I can talk about it all day, but not just that. Like I said, great movies, they go hand in hand. Like when I'm in the studio creating, like I have a setup where it's like these screens, and I'll play like 2 movies at once sometimes just for aesthetic, not looking at them, but it's just, I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's like definitely a passion of mine for sure, that maybe I'll tap into more later on in life,
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I love writing, I love stories, I love all of that.
Yeah. Have you directed your own music videos as well, right?
Yeah, well, I have a best friend, Lawrence, who we actually did just start a production company, who's directed a lot of my big videos.
Yeah.
A lot of my big songs. We won some awards together and things like that. But for most of my life, music has always been my first priority, But that is something that has also gotten me in trouble. It's got me in trouble, and I'll explain that a little more, because being from Detroit, right? And I'm from a family where They were hard workers. My grandma was one of the first female black captains in World War II. She was one of the first
Wow.
female cops in Detroit. And then later, she was done being a police officer. She was a teacher, a counselor. She was like a strong woman, you know. And my granddad too. They met in World War II, and has a similar story of just being so strong. And I come from a family where it's like hard work, you know, and everyone went to college and is educated. And I was kind of the first in my family to go on a different career path. You know, my mom used to always play all these like Motown, like she would play Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, all these the Isley Brothers, like all always in the morning. And I kind of fell in love with the music, you know. But my whole life, I remember when I was graduating high school and was graduating with a high GPA. I was on my way with a full scholarship to college, but I wanted to do music. I knew I wanted to do music. And every time I got excited about it, I could just tell that it was real, you know? Like I could just feel the connection. Like I don't care what anybody could tell me, like, nah, you tripping. Don't like, man, you know, you're gonna be out here with no on living on the street, man. If you know, you gotta play it safe. You gotta have a backup plan and all that stuff. And obviously that is a way for a lot of people. But for me, it was like I put all my eggs in one basket, denied, you know, my scholarship.
Yeah. Michigan
Um,
State.
yeah, and it didn't work out at first. You know, it didn't work out for me. You know, I was like, and that was the first time in my life where I hit a very big wall of depression, a very big wall of anxiety, a very, you know, pivotal moment in my life where I just didn't even feel like living. And this, you know, not to be dramatic, I was 18 years old, you know, but they are defining moments in your life. And when you're around 17 or 18, because you were around the same time when you saw that monk speak,
Yeah.
because I'm also reading your book, Think Like a Monk. And that's a pivotal moment, you know, coming out of high school. And all my friends went to college. I didn't go, you know, I ended up meeting Kanye West, right? Rapping for him. This was
Yep.
my idol. This was my number one person who I wanted to sign to. And I felt like I manifested that. And my mom is someone who introduced certain books to me that I was reading at the time. When I was around 17, she introduced me to Esther and Jerry Hicks and also The Secret,
Mm-hmm.
you know, The Secret. And you know, she was like, you can do it, like you can manifest it. And I just believed it.
I was going to ask you about that moment from a different angle. People have heard you tell the story,
Mhm.
but the way you're talking about it today, and also I find like our generation today is so lost in like procrastination, overthinking, overanalyzing, but you just went there and
Yes.
showed up
Yes.
without knowing if it was going to go anywhere. Like you were ready to be rejected, ready to fail,
Yeah.
ready for it to fall flat on your face.
Yeah, because it was like I couldn't look back and wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. I just couldn't. I just felt like I don't know why, and that was one of the concepts for one of my albums, but I just don't know why I had felt like I had lived a life already and like regretted it. And I was like, I just felt that in my heart as a young, you know, as a teenager. So I was like, I gotta make it happen. Like that was just it. It was no other option, you know? And she presented these books to me, and it's like she's like a guardian angel. It feels like when I look back on it, it's like, man, I really am living with angels, you know, like my mom, my grandma, because they would give me books I would never read, you know, give me books, try and introduce me to meditation and all these things. But it was when I felt hopeless, you know, and I hate that it got to that point, but I was young too, you know, I didn't, and I was like, I might as well just pick this book up. I might as well just let me just see what's going on with this because this has to work. And when you pick those books up and you crack it open, you realize that the book was talking to you. You realize that these books have energy and that it's attracting you. It's not just it's not just because for no reason. It's like it's literally there ends up in your hands because it's destiny, you know?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I learned as soon as I cracked it open. I remember reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success and tearing up, you know? And I remember reading Asking It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks and like feeling my whole vibration change. And that is one of the most, that is the first time that I realized that there are two realities. There's a reality that we see with our eyes and our feel and touch. And then there is a reality just as real where it is our spiritual world that we can create and manifest. And that is the reality with a capital R. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Yeah.
real reality that you bring to the other reality. And so anyway, I did these exercises, man. I only read books because I had to in school. That was like my thing.
I
Like,
can relate.
you know, and it was some good books, right? Like I remember we read Animal Farm, The Hobbit, all these great books that helped me, but I still never read on my own time. So these were the first books I read on my own time. You know, I graduated high school. I ended up meeting Kanye right before I graduated high school. So I ended up rapping for him. It's a classic fairy tale hip hop story. You meet your idol, you rap for him, he hears you out. And I had been recording CDs since I was 11 years old, man. So I had been passing out CDs around school, selling them for $5, $3. I had been participating in open mics, battle rapping. I had gone to the radio station every Friday after school, even when, because when I turned 16, my grandmother had a stroke and she had a brand new car. So it was a bittersweet thing because it was tragic to see my grandma, have a stroke, and the strongest woman I've ever seen literally get old instantaneously. And then I ended up getting a car, which provided me to get places that I needed to get to, to make the moves I was trying to make. Cause I had that hustler mentality. I was like, I had to do it. Eminem was the only rapper from Detroit at the time that was doing it big. And just to keep it real, I was like, I gotta represent for Black, you feel me? And be like, and put on for my city. And I just felt the responsibility, man. And I know I'm skipping around a lot.
That's all good, man. That's all good.
Yeah, but I would do this radio show every week. And that led me to meeting Kanye because he was at the radio promoting his album, Late Registration at the time. And, I met him from doing the radio show there every Friday. I lied and said I left my phone in the back offices so they would let me in the back to go check because I knew that's where the artists would go. I got a chance to rap for him as he was walking out. He was like, I'm real busy.
How did you have the courage to do that? Because I feel like people probably see you and they're like, oh, I want to go rap for Big Sean. Like, people want to repeat.
All the time.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you think you were able to even have the courage to be like, I'm just going to find a way in the hallway? Like, when he's walking, he's a busy guy.
Well, because when I did that radio show every Friday, we would rap on the air, on the radio.
Yeah.
That was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever had to do in my life. It would be like, oh my God, everybody who's listening to the radio right now is hearing me. And that was a beautiful platform, right, for up-and-coming MCs to come and display. And I would write a new verse every week, and I was super nervous. So I had done that for about a year straight already by the time I met him. So I was used to rapping under pressure.
Right.
So when I saw him and was delivering it, it was just like I had so many raps in my head already. And I was freestyling and I was used to delivering under pressure. So I was able to dynamically, I delivered it as best I could.
Yeah.
And he heard me. He heard me out and he was like, well, you got a CD. And it's like, well, yeah, because I had CDs that I was selling in high school. I had my CDs ready. I had a bio ready. I had everything ready. And it's crazy because ever since I was 11 years old, single thing I had done so far had led up to that moment. It all happened. And it was like, yeah, I had the CD, I had this, I had that. And he followed through, but it took years after that. That's what people don't get. It wasn't like I rapped for him and that was it. I rapped for him and thought it was going to be like that. That's why I didn't go to school. That's why I turned everything down. And then I stopped getting a response from him. And then all my friends are in college. A whole semester goes by and they're like, man, you could have came to school. What you still at home? Like, what's up with Kanye? What's up with your record deal? Like, what's up? Like,
that's the hardest to hear.
That's the hardest. And I come from a family. My grandma's like, why aren't, you need to go to school. Like, this is the way to a better life. she grew up in poverty and made her way to that point, and she's like, education is the way. And it was the hardest thing to go against the grain, and my mom was really one of the only people who, even though she was a teacher herself, right, an English teacher, has her master's degree, she she knew what it was like to have a dream, and she knew what it was like to chase it, so she believed, of course, education is important, but you can always go back and get it. You can't always live take that
You can't do
chance.
it the other way around. Yeah.
So during that time period, for like a year and a half or two, what I did was, that was the first time I intentionally worked on myself.
Mm.
And I intensely would read these books and meditate every day, and, imagine myself like living the life that I was, trying to live. And it just, I don't know how to explain it. It was like I felt like I was there.
Mm.
And what that did was, it put me there. It really did. To make a long story short, it put me there.
What were the work that you were doing with that meditation and visioning? Because I'm sure, like you said, and I'm really glad you brought it up, because before, like you said, I was at the radio station. I was rapping live. I was nervous. Like what I find is that with yourself and stories like yours, there's manifestation, but there's also a ton of hard work in the background.
Yes, it is.
Tell me about that part of what were you doing in the background while you're meditating, you're envisioning, you're seeing yourself there. What's happening with rap music and music?
Well, one of the things that I would do in my meditations is I would put out let me attract the people, energy, places that I need to go to the next level in my career. Let me attract the people. And I would meet people. I would meet producers, and we would lock in, and, who had a common belief as mine, or the same one. And I'm trying to get on as a producer. Like, you trying to get on, let's work, right? And I would write things down. I treated it like it was a job. And also, one of the things I had to put in perspective is that it didn't matter how hard I was working necessarily. It really mattered how smart I was working. I had a perception, it is hard work, you're right. But I had the perception that it takes hard work, until I realized that some of the most successful people I knew would work a couple hours a day and enjoy their life. Yeah, it's flowing. And at the end, me and my mom, we grew up in debt, and she worked 2 jobs, and she was working most of her life. So it just didn't make sense to me. Early on, I'm like, it's not about working hard. It's about working efficiently and smarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things I really learned at that age too. So
it's a big lesson.
Because a lot of the other people who I would see at studios, they would be like, man, I made 8 songs today. Like, I'd be like, well, I've been working on the same song for like a week and a half, but it's not about that. It's about the product. It's about what you're doing, and not about necessarily how much you're pumping out. You know what I mean? And that was something I really had to accept, because your ego will not let you accept that sometimes. We've been conditioned, right, to think all these things. And that's I feel like one of the things your book talks about. We've been conditioned to think a certain way. We've been conditioned to, we're given like a certain amount of guidance, options, directions. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to follow the line. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that. Hey, you guys got to do, our whole lives. And a lot of that is just, some of it's great, but some of it just doesn't apply to everyone, and that's one of the things I had to realize and redo my foundation of my whole life and be my architect.
Well said, man. That's beautiful. I love the way you've expressed that, because that must have been an uncomfortable place to live for 1 or 2 years. When you feel you're going to get your break, it doesn't happen. Your friends are now moved on.
Yeah.
And everyone's...
And I'm still in the same bed that I grew up in.
Yeah.
I was sleeping in a twin-size bed, man. I'm 18, 19 years old, you feel me?
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating, and it was a test of my ego, bro. It was a test of my ego. But I would visualize Kanye reaching out. I just knew that it was gonna happen. I didn't know how. And I was like, I'm gonna make it happen somehow. And it did, bro. And it's like something you gotta trust. Imagine you being on a cliff And it's like there's no more cliff there, but you like, hey man, there's an invisible bridge. You know, if you had a guidance next to you, like you had your higher self walking next to you,
Yeah.
and you're like, bro, there's nowhere to walk. And he's like, I'm telling you, if you take a step, it's an invisible bridge right in front of you. And that takes a lot of faith to walk on that bridge.
Yeah.
You know, that you can't even see. But
Yeah.
that's what I had to do because that's the decision I made. I wasn't about to go back to school at that moment. I wasn't about to go back to my friends and be like, man, y'all was right. Like I messed up, man. I should have just, you know, I couldn't do it, you know?
Yeah.
And that may have been my ego too, but I did let that motivate me. And that's just how it went, you know? And then he did reach out.
Yeah, tell us about that moment, how it felt internally around. Were you like, oh wow, this manifestation stuff works? Was that a point where you deepened your faith and belief in the invisible bridge, where you were like, oh, this stuff really works? Or do you think you already believed that it worked and it was just about trust? Or was this like a confidence point?
I had to trust it first.
Yeah, okay.
I had to trust it first.
Beautiful, yeah.
You know, and that's the thing with everything. You got to trust it. And then it started working. You know, things necessarily don't work before you trust it. It's kind of like you got, you know, I think that's one of the lessons I had to learn. You know, I had to trust in me, trust myself, trust the process, trust God's speed. You know, that expression is so popular for a reason. You know, you can make all these plans. My grandma used to always be like, man, God, you make all these plans, God's gonna laugh at you.
Yes, yeah.
You know, that classic saying. And she would say that to me, and so many sayings like that just means so much more now because it's true. That's why it's so popular. What goes around comes around.
Yeah.
You know, all these little things that we heard.
They're true. Yeah.
They're true.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been a beautiful time. And when he did reach out, it was just, it felt like it was confirmation that that trust wasn't wasted. It's all a higher power, right?
Yeah.
And that is guiding us and wants to support us.
Yes.
And does support us. Not wants to, does support us.
Absolutely. Did you ask him why it took him so long?
Nah, because you know, I knew people who were like 30, 40 years old that never got their shot. So I'm not gonna be like, man, I'm not, it took 2 years. What took so long? You know? But you know, and it was a process after that. And things, I'm not gonna sit here and say life is smooth sailing.
Never.
You know, it's not smooth sailing. It's like a constant unraveling experience, right? And things don't, it's so many times, bro, that things don't go my way. And I've done all the work and I'm like, why didn't this happen how I wanted it to happen? And then sometimes where I didn't expect things to do anything. And it turns out to be one of my biggest songs of my career, my biggest moments, or one of my greatest experiences, or things that I've like, okay, I put so much energy and power into this and then not do what I wanted it to do. Like these are things that I go through on a daily basis, but I had to realize that it's all the side of life that I'm on is such a unique side, and it's the blessed side.
Yeah.
And that anything that happens to me, anything, you know, whether it's all love, it's all beautiful, you know, and it's something to be learned from it. It's something to be gained from it. It's, you know, that you when you win something, you learn something. When you lose something, you learn something. You know, you still win something.
Yeah.
You gain something, you know. So it's crazy, man. It's really crazy.
Did you find that when you finally made it into the music industry, that there were people like you that meditated, that were visioning, that were working from this deeper core place? Did you find that, or did you find that your spirituality was almost threatened or questioned, or there weren't people seeing eye to eye? How did you feel about that? Did you find like it was still natural to stay true to what got you there? Because you had a very different journey in terms of internal journey towards music.
Yeah, I would see both.
Yeah.
I would see people. One of the reasons I wanted to sign to Kanye, because his first album inspired me so much.
Yeah, same.
And I can tell that his whether he knows it or not, he is clearly is a manifester.
Mm-hmm.
He clearly is a spiritual being too, or you could call it religious. To me, it's there are so many similarities, right? But he is somebody who is a manifester. He's somebody who's a creator,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's somebody who I've saw him wield ideas from, the inspiration of God, or, whatever he can say it is, but that drew me to him, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've seen it in a lot of people. I've seen it, when I sit and talk to Jay-Z, it's like I don't have to sit and like talk to him so deeply about it. I can just tell that he has this, there are a lot of people who I met, even DJ Khaled.
Yeah.
He's somebody who is,
Manifesting for sure.
a manifester,
Yeah.
and then his story is crazy. I don't know if you've ever talked to him,
I
but
haven't, no.
his story is crazy, man.
Yeah.
And, it's a beautiful, beautiful story. And we all have stories.
Mm.
And there are people who, like, those are people who you would kind of like be like, oh, okay, I can see that. But then there are people who I also have met, or even Janae, you could tell Janae is like very aware.
For sure.
And, somebody who is spiritually in tune. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I love about this conversation and all the people you're mentioning. I think we see an external PR version
Mm-hmm.
of who we think those people are on the front cover of magazines or music videos or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. But behind everyone, there's a deeper story.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just like that. Tell us about when. I'm intrigued because I feel like a lot of people listening to us right now, they may actually feel blocked from that envisioning, right? They feel blocked. Like they feel like they're not getting. When have you felt blocked? Or if someone's listening and they feel blocked, what's blocking them? Like how do they remove that? How do they let go? What are they needing to let go of?
Well, this is deep, dog. You're getting deep.
I had to go there with you. You're giving me deep talk, so I don't want to, gotta dive in.
Well, one thing I've learned on my journey is that there are blocks that are sometimes placed on us from our parents or from our surroundings. And whether you believe this or not, I believe it is true, even from a past life.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes total sense because I've met complete babies who were like, this is like an old man sitting here, right? He's very mature, it's like, but anyway, I have worked with people who have helped me remove blocks from my life. Marie Diamond being one of them, and that's a whole deeper conversation. But she has, in the last few years, is someone who has helped, who has been a mentor to me spiritually and helped me along my spiritual journey. And, honestly, when I just think about the blocks that I've had in my life, so to go back to that, to think about people who are feeling blocked, know that you have to believe that you can feel unblocked because you're giving it power by acknowledging like, I'm blocked. You're putting that out in the universe. Remember like what we said, the sayings that people live by that you've heard, what goes around comes around, what you get is what you give. Those are real things. And you subconsciously, and that subconscious mind is just as powerful as the conscious one. When you say, oh, I'm feeling blocked, or man, I'm down bad. I've heard people just say all these things that they put on themselves, like, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. So, okay, imagine if you're in front of the universe and God, and he's like, whatever you say, I'm going to give back to you. Like, whatever you say, I'm going to give it back to you. So you sitting up here like, I can't figure it out, man. I can't make money. I can't do this. I can't do, I feel like it's like, even when I did feel blocked, and if I did think that, I never owned it. And I'd be like, no, okay, I got to switch that. I got to feel better. So the first key to unblocking something is acknowledging that you are blocking yourself for sure. And I do think there are some deeper blocks that you got to work harder on to remove, like blocks that may have not even been put there from you. So you're not even acknowledging it or know how to remove it. And there are special people who can do this, that can help you get rid of it. But I do feel like you're blocking yourself, and you got to realize that. Stop blocking yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't have money, don't say you don't have money.
Yeah.
Be like, I got money. Money's coming in right now. Like, it feels good to be rich. If you keep that mentality and you're not rich, promise you, if you really believe it, which you have to believe it because you just have to. If you will be whatever you want to be. And it's never too late to be who you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to have a mentor, I remember, he used to repeat to me the Napoleon Hill words of like, you become what you think about.
Yeah.
And he just keeps saying it to me, and he'd tell me to keep saying it. When he first said it, I was just like, oh, come on. Like, how many times are you going to say it? It's like a mantra. When I first became a monk and they introduced me to mantra,
Man,
you're saying the same thing every day, again and again, and you're thinking, oh, this ain't going to work. But actually what you're saying is true, that when you repeat, you become what you think about.
Yeah.
And when you keep repeating it, it becomes your vocabulary, it becomes your mindset, it becomes your thought, and then it becomes your reality. And you're spot on. I love what you said about being in front of God and you saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. And God's giving you back exactly what you're repeating.
He's like, you're right, man, you can't.
Yeah.
All right, hey. Like.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah, and that is such a great way of thinking about it as a conversation around how we're creating our reality through our repetition.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you about being a monk too. That's like when we have dinner next week. Some. But one of the things that made me think about this is when I would come home and watch Bob Ross on PBS painting the pictures, or when I would watch Michael Jordan and all these Kobe Bryant and all these inspiring people when I was growing up. Mike Tyson, right? Or just Michael Jackson, anybody that I can think of. I like all the artwork on the wall.
A few people you mentioned are up there. So there's a few people.
But when I was thinking about that, it just brings me back to technique. How much of life is truly technique. And that is one of the biggest secrets I've learned. When I was going through one of the roughest times of my life a few years ago, I had just turned 30 and I was feeling so depressed, bro. And I had just moved into my house that I've been in for a few years in Beverly Hills, right? Slashes. I got it from Slash from Guns N' Roses. All my neighbors are, Vanna White is my neighbor. I'm like talking like, this was like my dream. This is my dream neighborhood, right? And I was in the worst condition of my life, bro. I felt like it was just too hard for me to even get through the day. I felt like...
How did you get there? Why did it get there? After all of this envisioning, focus, inner work, how did it get there?
You know why I got there? Because I lost touch with it a little bit. Not just because of that. I burned myself out. I wasn't paying attention to what myself was saying to me. I was doing it for all different other reasons. I need to do this show. I need to do 5 shows so I can get this money, take care of this person, do it for this. Oh, my management, everybody is expecting me. I got all these people. I got people who are on my payrolls. I'm like, I'm putting everybody before me.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to balance work and work because there's a work that you do for your career and there's a work that you do for yourself.
Yes.
No one ever taught me that because no one knew. No one knew, no one knew. Like, this is something that my dad didn't know. This is something my mom didn't know. Their mentality is you work as hard as you can, you work as hard as you can. So I come from a place where it's like, you got to keep the foot on their necks. You got to keep going hard. You don't want to lose your opportunity.
Yeah.
That was my thinking. But really, I had already had it.
Yeah.
I already have it. So now to take it to another place, I got to take care of myself so I can bring my best self to the table. And it's something that life forced me to do. It's something that life forced me to do, man. And I had to stop everything I was doing and completely fall back, bro. Completely fall back from looking at things about me, from being online, completely fall back from all the obligations I had to do, performances, money I was losing. Like, it was just like, I had to fall back from everything and take some time. And that's when I met Marie Diamond. And obviously I had seen her on The Secret. I was, I knew about her. And my mom, taking one of her classes, emailed Marie Diamond and was like, hey, my son is a musician, this and this and this. And then she got an email back from Marie Diamond. And my mom was freaking out. And Marie Diamond said, this is so crazy because my son has Sean on his vision board.
Wow.
And she was, I've never worked with a rapper, I've never done anything like this. She's worked with big people, big clients. But anyway, that was a serendipity, that was a meant to be thing. And that came at a time right where I needed it. And I got into the technique of loving myself, bro. Bringing it back to the point I said earlier, when I would look at Bob Ross and Michael Jordan, it's all technique. So much of life is technique. What you do is technique because I had to get into the technique of loving myself. I had to really make sure that I put myself as a priority. My meditations came before anything. Me writing down my intentions, every day or every other day, or, writing my thoughts down, like that was a priority to me. Spending time for myself, being out in nature, right? Working. I started taking care of myself more, working out. That's something I never did. I gained 30 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, we got to show like a before and after.
Yeah. We'll get it for this.
Crazy. I used to look totally different. It changed me for the better, and it's built my strength up. It's given me more strength to deal with things when they don't go my way. Before, it would tear me down. Before, I used to let people's opinions about me really affect me.
Yeah, same.
And now it's like, what am I even thinking right now? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's crazy how we can look and see a comment that's like, I love you, I appreciate you, you changed my life, amazing. Man, this guy sucks. And we'd be like, man, this dude just said I suck. I'm doing something wrong, It's crazy how our mind immediately goes there because our ego.
Yeah.
Or maybe because something else, but I think it's just that ego.
It is.
Yeah. But I had to get into the technique of loving myself, man, for real.
But what I respect about you is it took courage to get there, but then it takes courage to go deep again.
Oh yeah.
And so it took courage for you to break through and get in front of Kanye and build your career, and then to be at the top and to be at a point where it's like, oh wow, like there's so much opportunity, and to then go, oh wait, I need to do the work.
I need to do the work.
That takes even more courage because now you have something to lose. And I respect that a lot, because I think when I work with people and I meet people who are crushing it, it's like when you're crushing it and then you go, no, wait a minute, I still need to get this right. That shows an even deeper level of courage and insight. And the fact that you were able to take that step back, what made you comfortable and confident that you had to seek out help? Like your mother was obviously sending this email to Marie Diamond. When were you like, okay, I need to find a coach, a guide, therapy, like open myself up to other ways to help? Because you'd done it fairly yourself and through books.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden it's almost like, oh,
it got to need more.
Yeah.
Because it's an ongoing process. Yeah. It's an ongoing journey, right? I had no choice. For me, it was, I couldn't get through the day without feeling terrible. And when you get to that point where it's hard for you to just do anything, I knew my perspective was off. I knew I did. And I sought therapy too. I saw a therapist. I was spiritually working on myself, and it was just the perspective, bro. I used to look at things like, oh, I got to do this today. I got to do this. I got to do this podcast. Oh man, I'm like overwhelmed. But now it's like, I don't got to do that. I get to do it. I get to do this. I get to live this. I get to wake up, man, and see this. Well, we lost Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
We lost, my mom's best friend just died. I've lost people close to me, and they don't get to wake up.
No.
And they leave behind kids, they leave behind a life, right? And I almost felt like I was being selfish because I was not living in the moment. You're never living in the moment when you're thinking about what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're only living in the moment when you're enjoying each moment, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've learned, dog, is like holding on to grudges. That's not living in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, love doesn't hold grudges. You hold on to grudges. Your
Mm.
ego holds on to grudges. Like, you got to just move with love and live in the moment. And when you do, everything is a pleasure.
Mm.
You know, even if it's a lot, even if you can't get it all done, even if you're like, I didn't even get to that today, it's like at least you're here though.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I love that switch of what you said from I've got to do this to I get to do this.
Telling you.
That's a beautiful switch in the mindset, man. I think so many of us are always, oh, I gotta do this next. I gotta do. I think that is
Yeah.
such a great. I'm gonna remember that forever. Like
Yeah, I
that's
hope so. I
yeah,
hope people really understand that,
yeah,
because even if you're down bad, to everybody who's down bad right now who's watching this, who has no money, right? Even if you don't have even if you're homeless, right? Even if it's the worst situation, you don't have a cent to your name, but somehow you seeing this, just remember that this is your opportunity. Every situation is an opportunity, and you don't got to do more work than the next man. You get to do more work than the next man. You get to take advantage of your opportunity and see a spectrum that people don't get to see. You
mm,
know, you get to live out the levels of life
yeah,
that people don't get to see. People don't get to see the bottom sometimes. Some people are born into wealth and happiness, and they don't have to. You get to struggle. You get to be stronger.
yeah.
You get to lift that weight, and you'll have strong enough muscles to climb the mountain and be the master of your life. So I'm letting you know, like, you got what it takes. You got it.
Yeah, I love that. And you get to be more compassionate and empathetic because when you've been there, now when you rise, you're able to love and be compassionate to other people's pain because you
Yeah.
were there and
Yeah.
you get more empathy. And that's such a gift in life, I feel, to feel compassion to that degree is a huge gift because you've been there, you know what it feels like. And
That only
that
comes from experience.
totally. And to have that is a gift in and of itself. Tell me about now where you at. Like when we look at you now, like you've given us a really beautiful deep dive into these moments on your story.
Uh-huh.
What are you visioning today? What are you working on today? What are some of those techniques for love? And I love that you use the word techniques. I think that's such a beautiful juxtaposition between technique and love, because people often think love is just fluid and fluffy and
Right.
but you're spot on. It's a science and a spirituality.
It is.
It's both. It's strategic and sincere. It's both, right? Like I feel
Yes.
we live in this world where I was talking about it with a friend today, and I was saying that the human mind needs to get better at entertaining the idea that two opposites or two things that you think are opposite actually is where the magic happens. So like when
Hmm.
you say love is a technique, people go, no, love can't be a technique because it just has to be, pure and flowing. But actually it starts as a technique and
Yes.
then it transcends,
Yes.
right? It starts that way. Tell us about some of the work you're doing
Yeah.
today, internally and externally, that you feel is in line with what you're sharing.
Well, first of all, I'm like going through this cleanse right now,
Yeah.
like this 4-month cleanse. That's
That a food cleanse or?
no, it's a cleanse where you take certain supplements. You're definitely supposed to eat a certain way. It's not a super strict, like, just berries or anything like that. It's just like, it's kind of like the diet that I already have, which is like, I don't do wheat,
Mhm.
gluten. There are times where I have no choice sometimes, and I even have enzymes that are like to help with that. But so it's not a super strict diet, but it's a diet where you stay in the guidelines.
Yeah.
And
I'm taking notes for dinner next week.
yeah.
You let me know. I'll tell my wife.
Yeah, and anyway, Janae's doing this too. It's a cleanse, and my mom is doing it. A lot of people are doing it around me. 4-month cleanse,
Mhm.
and you clean your gut and your intestines and your liver and your kidneys, and then you clean out parasites, then the worms and all these crazy things that's the stage I'm in now. I'm in just started my second month out of 4 months. And one thing I realized is that when you do a cleanse like that, right? I've never done one in my life, and I used to. I mean, at one point, especially in high school, like every night I was eating McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? I was getting that double cheeseburger. I was getting Taco Bell. I was getting Burger King, White Castles. Like I was on it. That's just because it was just what we had.
Yeah.
I would be in the studio at my friend's house or re-recording in the basement. It's like that's just what it was, you know. And I've eaten so much of that in my life when I was younger. So I was like, I really need to do this cleanse. So that's one of the things I'm doing now. And I do feel like when you do a cleanse like that, it also cleanse energetically some of that old you that you've been holding on to for years. You know? So that's
And you
one.
learn discipline, you learn, it's always like, I feel like there's a beautiful story that you just reminded me of from what you said. It's in a book called I think it's called The Zen of Archery. So it's about archery. And a student comes to an archery master, a Zen master who's also an archer, and goes, I want to learn archery. And so the master goes, okay, let's learn archery. So they draw a target onto a little piece of paper. They stick it on a tree. They make a little bow out of a twig and the string, and they give it to the student. And they give them a little arrow made out of a twig, and they say, go for it. And the person just starts like shooting twigs, and they're missing. And then the master says to the student, the master says, what is your goal? Like, what's the goal? And the student says, my goal is to hit that target, the bullseye, to hit right in the middle.
Right.
And the master says, so you're telling me that your goal is to shoot a twig into a piece of paper? And the student's like, yeah, isn't that what we're doing? And the master says something beautiful. The master says, that's your target. The goal is to be calm enough so that you can hit your target.
I love that.
And what you just said
How
now,
real is
like
that?
your target is to change your gut and purify and detox. But the goal is the discipline, the nourishment, that what you just said, like that's what you're really achieving in the cleanse. And I think we get the goal and the target confused a lot. We think that the target is the goal, but the goal is to be still and to be present. The target's just a way of getting to that goal. So I love that you're doing that. I need to join you on that. I'm big into gut health and realizing how.
Oh yeah, it's like your microbiomes and everything. It's like it has to do. This cleanse specifically has to do with that. And
I want you to introduce me to that person afterwards who's managing that.
I'm gonna tell you, Mama Myra, my mom, she's
the one.
She is a health. Everything I've ever done with health. Let me tell you another quick story about health, real quick.
Please.
And you don't have to include this if you don't want.
No.
I had a real bad injury on tour with my knee.
Right.
Went to the doctor. And the doctor was like, man, we're going to have to put screws in your knee. Your cartilage is completely torn down and your bones are rubbing together. I could barely walk. My mom was like, I don't accept that, right? So let's go to, this is the second time in my life. I'll tell you the first time. This is the second time it's happened. She's like, I found this place that does stem cell research. And this is how we got hip to the oxidation of the blood. What they would do is they would oxidize this blood, put it in wherever you needed it, right? For me, it was my knee. And it would slowly repair the knee and then regenerate the cartilage with the stem cells. My cartilage regenerated in my knee 98%. 98% regeneration. This is not a game, man. This doctor told me I had to have surgery on my knee and put screws in my knee. And this was a more holistic approach. You know, this was a more of a Eastern, I guess, medicine. Alternative medicine. And the other time was when I had heart problems growing up. You know, I had heart palpitations and it got so bad that I couldn't walk from one side of the room to the other side of the room without being short breath. Your heart runs on electric currents. And mine was like beating like this. Weird, right? Anyway, I passed out in the shower, went to the hospital. They were like, man, we're going to have to put what's the thing? What is this? The shot?
Pacemaker.
We're going to have to put a pacemaker in your heart, or we can cut half of your heart open, scar it, and the electric currents will run through the scars. Man, I went to this doctor who's actually my doctor now in Michigan, one of the best doctors in the world, Dr. Brownstein. He gave me magnesium and a couple other things. He was like, make sure you take this magnesium. I go back a week later or like a week and a half later to get prepped for the surgery that we couldn't afford. And they test my heart and they're like, oh my God, your heart's fine. They diagnosed me with the whole disease. They diagnosed me and said my heart, I had a diseased heart. And then when I got tested again, they were like, oh, your heart's really healthy. You have a strong heart. And I couldn't believe
how different.
I told them, like, all I did was take this. I told them, like, I took the magnesium and they were like, no way. That's impossible. But it's like people got to open their minds up a little bit more, right? And just, all of us. I've had to open my mind up so much in my life.
Yeah.
But I
love hearing you talk about this stuff. I think it's great. I think it's great because I think people would externally just think, oh yeah, skeptical about this kind of stuff.
No.
And hearing you say it and you having real experience of it, what makes your mom sounds like the most amazing person in the
I'm
world.
not just saying this. You should interview her one day.
Yeah.
Or maybe come over for dinner and talk to her.
100%. I'd love to. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, everything you've just said to me, the books your mother introduced you to, the people, like, I'm fascinated by her story.
Bro, we get lucky, right, with our parents. They say that we choose our parents.
Yeah. For sure. I believe that.
I chose the right one, for sure. Yeah. My dad is cool, too. Let's not get it confused. My mom is amazing.
Yeah.
My dad is amazing, too, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Just not those ways.
Yeah. Different strengths.
Yeah, different strengths.
And different teachers for different lessons.
Yeah. A lot of personality traits I picked up from him.
Yeah.
For sure. He's somebody who loves first.
Yeah.
And that's something that you don't get. He's somebody who's open-hearted and very gentle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he grew up in Monroe, Louisiana, where he had to run for his life and he would get beat up for being Black, and he's dealt with a lot of pain and trauma. And one of the things that I inspired him to do was go see therapy, and that was one of the most emotional moments for me because it was like, I know him and my Uncle John as Black men growing up in Louisiana and all the stuff that they've been through, my dad told me he felt like I didn't know that, he was like, I didn't talk to you about certain things because guys aren't supposed to talk about certain things. We're not supposed to open up about that. As crazy as that sounds, right? Because it's different now.
Totally.
People are more comfortable talking about mental health now. People are, there are discussions. There are people who will relate, right?
Yeah.
But that really was a stigma. That really was
100%.
Something that you couldn't talk about.
100%.
And it messed him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still working on that right now.
Totally. Can you imagine holding it in for that long and not feeling you can share it and being told you're not allowed to feel that as a man? And there's a lot of toxicity that comes with that.
Yeah, and getting beat up.
Yeah, Yeah.
He said he would run for his life sometimes, man, to make it past these train tracks. It's crazy, man.
That's insane. That's intense.
Yeah.
But that's something that it sounds like from your journey, you haven't experienced, like, that's not something that you've seen that through his experience.
Yeah, it's all in my blood though, right?
Yeah.
It's like my grandma's not with me anymore, but she was a female Black captain in World War II.
That's insane.
Like, that's in my blood.
Yeah.
My mom's blood is in
journey.
me. It's all in me. My other grandma had to pick cotton. My dad's mom, she picked cotton for a job. And my granddad's aunt was born a slave. That wasn't that long ago.
Wow.
My granddad died when I was in the 7th grade. His aunt was born a slave. So that goes to show you it's not that far removed.
It isn't.
Right?
Yeah.
As I have on my Black and Proud shirt.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
No, but I love how you're explaining the story of your background and each person in your history. And you're spot on that, of course, they made you. So
yeah,
all of that is part of your story.
Yeah, just like your parents, you know what I mean? And just like everything.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Your ancestors, like, they are really a part of us.
For sure.
They really are.
For sure.
And and I had to accept that they guided me, and that when things don't work out, it's because they are working out better than I could even imagine.
Mm-hmm.
When it doesn't go the way that I planned on it going, whatever it is, it's not that it's not working out, it's that it's working out better than I can even comprehend.
Yeah. If my plans worked out the way I wanted them to work out, my life would be lame compared to what it is today. You know,
Yeah, you wouldn't even be you.
No, 100%. I wouldn't at all. Like I think about if my plans worked out the way I wanted them to work out, my life would be nowhere near as good as it is.
No way.
And that's the thing that we hold on to our little plans and we keep chasing them and we keep thinking that they're the only way. And so when a new opportunity or a new portal comes up, we're scared of walking through that portal. But that portal is
I know
our greatest journey.
I know.
And you've taken it and now you're sharing through your music. I read that Rolling Stone said your latest album was like a self-help book.
Yeah.
And I was thinking how amazing that your journey and study of so many powerful teachers and books and your own work and your own growth journey, your own purification, and now you're sharing it through music. Do you feel now that you're at a place where your music is allowing you to share all of that even more than ever? Or tell us about that journey with music, because your purpose is to change people's lives through music.
Yeah, my purpose is to inspire, through anything I do.
Yeah.
So whether it's music or a book, right, which I haven't written yet, but
it's coming.
I've been thinking about it.
You have to.
Yeah, it's something that I wanted to just look back on my life and be like, I did all I could in a moment when people not just like me, but just people whoever needed it, and, at least I said it, because it's a lot of music out there.
Yeah.
It is a lot of music out there. There's a lot of music that sounds the same out there. There's a lot of music that sounds different too.
Yeah.
Because it's just tons and tons and tons of music. So I had to represent my mindset at least at that point in my life. And I try and do that with all my albums, but on top of that, I don't want to sound like I'm preaching. I don't want to sound like I'm talking down or, I want to sound like I'm talking to someone. So I do have records that are fun.
Yeah.
Because I am, I am not, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me included, all of us, none of us.
Yeah, so I one of the things that I realized is that, okay, I got to make sure I have the balance of having fun in my music.
Yeah.
And my next album won't sound like my last one. The one before that doesn't sound like, the next one. It's always changing up. So it's like a picture, right? It's like you can like, okay, this one I'm gonna really paint what I'm going through right now. This one I'm just gonna completely talk about last night when I got drunk. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it comes from all different inspirations.
I love that. Yeah, I found that even, and you're reading Think Like a Monk right now, but when I was writing that, I wanted to share my weakest points as a monk. Mm-hmm. So there's not many examples in there where I share the best days. Yeah. I share all my worst days. Yeah. I share my worst meditation. I share my biggest criticism that I had of people around me. I share my worst train journey. Like in the book, I was like, I want to share the worst days.
Wow.
Because the big days are the easy days to share when like I felt enlightened and when I had a moment. Like those are easy to share.
Right.
But to share like, you know what, I used to wake up and I hated waking up at 4 a.m. Like to share that felt like the right thing to share because of what you're saying. We all have bad days. None of us are perfect and have it all figured out. And
people relate to that, right?
Yeah. And also I feel like that's just the truth that we need to hear. Because like I was speaking to a friend yesterday and he was saying, I feel scared about my future and my financial future and this and that and whatever it was. And I was like, dude, I relate. Like, everyone feels like that. Yeah. Like there's no one who, and as soon as you hear that, you go, oh, okay, it's okay. When you hear that someone else feels that way, I know when people are going to listen to this, they're going to go, Big Sean felt nervous rapping?
Yeah.
Like when you hear that, that's good. Oh, okay, it's okay to feel nervous and still do something.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people feel they have to feel confident to do something.
Yeah.
When actually most of us do things when we're nervous.
Yeah. Bro, I wake up still totally messed up sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel there are times where, I do feel very like down and depressed. My vibration is low, but I'm able to approach it and react to it differently. Yeah. And I'm able to not let it stick on me.
Yeah.
One of the things that meditation does for me is like, it's like when you work out or like do something like go on a hike or something and you take that shower.
Yeah.
And you just like are clean.
Yes.
That's what meditation does for me. It energetically, literally just cleans me. And I
So
feel like I'm ready. It's like having a full charged phone. It's like I'm
yes.
ready for everything now. I'm charged
Yeah.
up. And
It's bathing your soul.
yeah. And people have a lot of misconceptions about meditation.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
you have to understand that there's no wrong way to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wrong way. It's not wrong. Even if your mind races and you get better at bringing it back to your center, if you get better on focusing on your breathing, right? You can't do it and think you're doing it wrong because there is no wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get into a groove the more you do it that works for you because it's for you. It's not for everyone else. This isn't like something you get great. It's not like a math test. Meditation is a personal moment that you share with yourself, and that brings you in the moment. And your mind does race, right? You think about things, you may visualize things, but you come back to the moment. So meditation for me, that's what it is,
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest misconceptions. I go to these studios, I'm talking to like, I could be talking to Lil Wayne. I could be talking to like, I've definitely been in studio sessions with people like my brother Wayne and being like, man, like, so you taking any vitamins or like, what's the, I'm not even playing like, and they look at me crazy sometimes, but it's just like, I do care. I love that. I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love my brothers. I love I'm in the studio with Hit Boy, who's one of the greatest producers, right? And I'm telling, he's like, yo, help put me on. Like, I'd be telling him what I'm doing. He's like, yo, I want to get into that. Like, and there's no wrong way of doing it. I just want to put that out there. There's no wrong way of doing it.
I love that you're an ambassador for meditation. It's awesome seeing you talk about it in such a genuine way. And I love what you just said, that meditation is not a math test. I mean, that is the problem with the conditioning, that everything's a test, everything's right or wrong, everything's, and you're so right that you just have to let go of that. When I'm sharing meditation with people, often I find that, especially if they're musicians, it's like they want to get the music right or the sound right. But it's free of that. Like meditation is, I mean, I'm tone deaf and, and I can't sing to save my life. I love music, but I can't sing to save my life. But meditation's beyond that. Like it's beyond the mental, verbal capacities that we have. But
it is. And that's one of the things I do, write stuff down.
Yeah.
Since 2019, though, I've also been like, let me do one thing every year that's going to change my life.
Ooh.
You know how people have like a New Year's resolution? So in 2018, that's when I started really taking better care of myself, right? So I was like, 2019, my number one goal is to take care of my temple, take care of my body, take care of my mind, body, because it's connected, right?
Absolutely.
So I was like, I'm going to work out, and I transformed my body 2019. 2020, and by the way, I keep these one introduction of something new every year. I keep that in my, my daily practice. Like it's a habit at that point. I create these new habits. And 2020, it was like, okay, I want to put all these things into this album. That was my number one priority. Like, I want to create something for people who really need this right now, right?
Yeah.
And while doing all the things I kept from 2019, 2021, I've been taking voice lessons.
Wow.
So I've been taking voice lessons with my vocal coach, Peter, and because I realized that not only first of all, I listen to my old music and my voice has changed so much.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, my voice has been getting stronger, right? So I'm going to strengthen my voice because I can harmonize, I can sing, not for real, but I do feel like I have a voice that's hidden in me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
To not only sing, but when I strengthen my voice, I also feel like it strengthens my voice figuratively. And so I started that in January this year, and it's been helping me a lot. It's just been strengthening a lot of other things because really your voice, this chakra right here,
for sure,
has been getting strengthened, and this chakra, which is your, your solar plexus and it's just been strengthening here for me, you know, and meditation really strengthens here for me, and it also strengthens my roots,
Yeah.
you know, my root chakra.
Yeah.
My third eye chakra, my crown chakra, you know, a lot of that. But I needed work on my throat chakra, you know, my heart chakra. You know, that's another thing that I've had to work on. So that's, you know, that's just one of the things I'm doing.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling, first of all, I'm feeling very grateful and humbled for the generous time you've given me today.
Yeah, I've been having fun.
I'm feeling totally, I've learned so much, and I feel so inspired just sitting here listening to you speak and hearing about your journey in detail. I mean it. I'm being honest. I genuinely do. And Homer knows I don't say that all the time. So, you know, he can vouch for me for that.
Yeah.
But I mean that because I can see how much genuineness and how real this journey is for you. And hearing about your mother has blown my mind, because I'm thinking, wow, what a mother, you know, to have that.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's amazing.
It's really beautiful and special. But we end every one of these episodes with a fast five.
Okay.
And you may have seen Janae do this. So this is final 5 questions where you have to answer it with 1 word to 1 sentence maximum.
Gotcha.
So it's tight, and
it's tight.
You're dropping the bars already, so it's easy. It's easy for you. All right.
Yeah.
So the first question for you is, what's the best advice you've ever received? It can be a sentence, of course.
Experience. It's the best advice I've ever received is experience.
That's a great answer. We never had that before. I love that. Okay. What's the worst advice you've ever received?
You know what, Jay?
Yeah.
It's like I block it out.
Yeah, you don't even remember
I don't hold on to it.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten terrible advice so many times. I can't even remember.
But you can't even remember it. I love that. That's a great answer, man.
Yeah.
We're good with that.
Okay.
Question number 3. What's something that you know to be true, but you feel other people might disagree with you on, or they're not there, like they don't fully get it yet? What's something that you're so sure about, but other people would not really get it?
I can make a list. Meditation.
Yeah. Mention past life.
Ancestors.
Before.
Yeah. Guiding you. Past life. Blocks. Removing blocks.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's good. Yeah. Question number 4. What's the biggest lesson you learned in the last 12 months?
The biggest lesson I learned in the last 12 months. You can't kill your ego.
Tell me more about that. That's something we should talk about.
People always talk about ego death, and you can't kill it. Why would you want to kill a part of yourself anyway? You have to just know how to work with it and how to treat it. You know, people always say your ego is the most childish part of you. But then I also hear that children are the most spiritual beings because they have no restrictions that have been set on them. They're just purely right from the source, right?
Yeah.
So there has to be a connection between the two. And I think your ego is an unfiltered part of you that is easily affected and very emotional and very sensitive. And it's something you should embrace.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get rid of it, lock it in a room. You embrace it and recognize it for what it is. And when you do, and when you nurture it in that way, I think it won't be as dramatic of an outlash and as damaging to you. If that makes any sense.
That makes sense to me. Sometimes, well, when I was listening to you, what I was thinking about was sometimes your ego just needs a big hug. Like when you just embrace it.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, and I don't feel ego from you today, you know, from the moment you walked in to meeting my team. And, you know, it's like, I don't feel a sense of arrogance or bravado in your presence at all.
Thank you.
Which just shows that you've just embraced it. You get it there. And I like that. That's what came to my mind when you were speaking. And also when you were talking about children, I was thinking, you know, we want to become more childlike and not childish. And I think that's the, what you were saying there, like being childlike is great. Like childlike is like fresh, new, but being childish is like tantrums and, being, just
being childlike is like not putting any ceilings on yourself,
Yeah.
One of the things that we do as grown-ups is like, oh, that sounds a little crazy. When you're a kid, you're like, man, I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah. I'm going to climb that tree.
I want to do this, I want to be, and it's like they do it to their capacity, but that's something we lose when we grow up. So, I love that childish versus childlike.
Yeah.
And that's the same as being selfish and self-care.
Yes.
And I used to get those confused. And that's one of the reasons why I felt like I probably I burnt myself out as far as like trying to do too much, is because I thought that it was selfish of me to be like, oh, I need to take time for myself.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this work I need to do, I'm going to get a massage tonight. I thought that was selfish of me, but that's not selfish. That's self-care. That's self-love. And you got to know the difference between the two.
Absolutely.
Selfish is when it affects the people you love or people around you or certain people in a negative way, right? You're doing something for a wrong reason, but when you're just taking care of yourself to be better for those people, then that's self-care.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a great definition. And I just hope everyone who's listening and watching to this, I hope you're taking notes, because that differentiation can actually change your life. Because when you give up your self-care in the short term to think you're being selfless, then in the long term, you end up having to be selfish because it pushes you back that way. So you're spot on that we have to, and I can relate to that so much, because there was a time in my life where I was just extending myself to others. And I used to think that getting a massage, eating well, eating on time, all of that stuff was bad. And now it's like I realize, well, I can't give myself, or I'm giving people the worst leftovers of myself when I haven't taken care of myself. I don't want to give the people I love my leftovers, but that's what I'm giving them because I've drained myself. So I love that differentiation. All right, fifth and final question.
Okay, I forgot we were doing
No, that's cool. I asked you. You were following the rules, but I was like, when you said that we have to kill our ego, I was like, oh, okay, I want to know. So that was good. It was good. Fifth and final question is, if you could create a law that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
To not judge. Not to judge, because here's the difference. Everyone has an opinion, right? And that's fine. And I remember just going to church and people being like, only God can judge you, right?
Yeah.
But we are all humans. And when we judge each other, it brings us down, man. It traps us, right? It's like, and what you put out there is just going to come right back to you.
Absolutely.
It's like a double-edged sword. So you're judging somebody like, you messed up, you wrong, this is not good. What are you doing? Like, this is not good. But that's coming right back to you, whether you know it or not. And it could be different ways, right? But to me, you can have an opinion, right? And that's a thin line too between an opinion and judging. But judging is when you go out your way to make somebody feel a certain way, right? And that's something that's become so accustomed to our society, is we judge each other when really I don't even know if we have the right to judge each other.
Totally.
We're all made in the image of God, right? And I don't know if judging each other is productive necessarily. I just don't think it's productive. I think that it's time that you could have spent on something else. And if you don't like something that's different, you don't have to comment on it. You don't have to judge it. You could just be like, cool, like, and
let it go
and put the energy on something you like, let it go. Or I think when you bring somebody down, though, you're bringing them down, but you can't bring anything down without going down yourself. It doesn't even make any sense.
Absolutely. Everyone, big Sean, thank you for doing this, man.
I can't wait to come back. We got to do like a part 2.
I know. I mean, I can carry on talking.
No. We can save it for another time if you like.
No, this has been amazing, man. Like, just hearing you share your heart and your genuine purpose with us today. Like, I've loved every bit of it. It's been so inspiring
Thank
to
you,
me.
man. I loved it too.
And I've learned so much. And I mean that. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I recommend that everyone goes and listens to this again and takes notes, write stuff down, because there are so many gems in what you shared that can be truly powerful for people at different stages of their life, because you just walked us through the hero's journey.
Yeah.
And your journey, of course, still continues, as you know, but there's so many parts of that. And I want to ask you, though, is there something you wanted to share today that you feel I haven't let you share, or that you haven't had an opportunity to get through? Because I want to get there. I don't want to prematurely, give up. So
no,
if there's something on your mind that you're like, oh, I feel like I need to share this with people.
Well, I do want to just share that I go through terrible days. I go through dark moments. I go through great days. I have great moments. And, it's not like I figured life out. I don't think anyone on this earth has ever figured life out all the way.
Agreed.
And I don't think it's for us to figure out. Maybe there are other purposes for it, but I just want to put that out there and say that, you're not alone. Like whoever needs to hear that, like you're not alone. Obviously Jay Shetty got you. I got, like, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And but I just want to end on that and just say that thank you guys for listening. To anybody who needed to hear this, like I needed to hear it myself. Everything I said is because it was on my heart that needed to be expressed for you and for myself and for whatever other reason. So thank you.
That is a beautiful note to end on. And 1,000% I'm in for a part 2.
Yeah, gotta do part 2.
Yeah, I'm all in for a part 2. I could talk to you for like 2-3 hours, and I could listen to that voice. I could listen to that voice for hours. So, but honestly, like what you just said is so perfect and exactly what we all need to hear. And I don't think you shared your story with any sort of perfection or with any projection of you having it figured out. I could hear that sincere seeker inside of you in every step. So I think you shared it beautifully, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me,
Thank you, man. This was beautiful. This was amazing. I love this.
It was. It was.
Thank you. If you want even more videos just like this one, make sure you subscribe and click on the boxes over here. I'm also excited to let you know that you can now get my book, Think Like a Monk, from thinklikeamonkbook.com. Check below in the description to make sure you order today.
Just like any other drug, I think pain could be addicting, and it's so hard to get out of that because you're so used to living in that dark for so long that once you see the light, you're like, my eyes hurt, I don't want to do this. So you go back into the darkness, and it's just going past that pain, past that addiction. Yeah.
It's like being in bed and trying to wake up. It's so easy to just stay under your covers.
Yeah, and make excuses. I'll work out tomorrow.
Hey everyone, it's so great to be back with you, and I can't wait to introduce you to my next guest. We've been trying to get our schedules to align for so long. We finally made it happen, and I'm so excited to speak with her. She's got an incredible series of things happening in her life, and I'm excited for her to share them with you. Her name is Francia Raisa, and she's an American actress and activist, and she's currently starring in Freeform's wildly successful Grownish, and has so many more exciting things coming as well. Francia, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. That was a great intro.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I was gonna add that even though we've only met once before this, I've followed you on Instagram since.
Yeah.
You've made me laugh. You've moved me. You've made me feel that you're so involved in so many meaningful efforts.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Instagram, for letting us connect more and for keeping us connected since we met.
Yeah. You've been very active, and it's great. I appreciate all the comments and stuff that you give back. And same with you. I mean, all your stuff is super inspirational. I'm like, yes, I can do it. Let me get up.
No, thank you. And your I think I said it on the day, like your 1 million celebration.
Oh gosh.
So Francis, if you haven't seen it, you have to go through her Instagram profile. You have to scroll back to when she hit 1 million, and she did this dance to celebrate.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
And by the time we filmed, I'd already been dancing for 2 hours. I was so tired, and I'm like, wow, I'm not 14 anymore where I can just keep going. Yeah, but it was fun.
You did.
I did.
You made it happen.
Yeah,
you didn't retire.
Somehow.
You didn't skip anything. You looked amazing. No, you're awesome. And I'm so excited for you. I saw the article in Variety the other day.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I can't believe I didn't even know about the story, just to kind of elaborate on it.
Yes. I want to hear all about it.
Well, in 1947, California became the first state to desegregate all schools thanks to a Mexican-American family. And people don't really know about that unless, you study Chicano studies or really look into our history. And Brown versus Board of Education is really the only piece of history that we know with desegregating schools. But actually, Thurgood Marshall used Mendes versus Westminster as a gateway for Brown versus Board of Education. And, I found out about this story in January. And I brought it to Mandy TV, my producing partner, and we were just on it and trying to get the family to come on board with us. And they've had so many people approach them about a film, and somehow they felt more comfortable with me than anyone else. So now we're here in the development stages, and I'm very, very excited to finally bring this story to light.
Yeah, that's beautiful. How did you find the story?
My boyfriend, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So I've been wanting to produce for a long time. I've been doing this business for 13 years now, and I just kind of wanted to do more than just acting. And Mandy's always been pushing me to produce as well. Her husband is actually my manager. And so my boyfriend's super supportive, and I've been looking for stuff, and he came across it somehow, and he's like, "Did you know this?" And I was like, "No." And so I started looking more into it and reading about it. I brought it to Mandy. She goes, "How does no one know this?" And I got rejected from school when I was 5 years old for not being able to speak English. So that was against my rights as a citizen. So, we contacted Sylvia Mendes, who actually was awarded the Medal of Freedom from Barack Obama, and contacted her, went to see her, and had probably a 2-3 hour conversation with her. And she immediately said, "No, I don't want to give away my rights." And I was like, "Okay, listen, it's more than just making a movie. I know that education is very important to you. I'm upset that I didn't learn about this in school. And I want this to be a part of our school curriculum. And the best way to do that is through Hollywood." I was like, it has to be told. I told her about my getting rejected from school, which she was shocked about because I was in the 90s and this case happened in the 40s. And I didn't know this, but later on I found out that she went to her sister's house and said, "I have a feeling about her. I think this might be the right move." And it was just a gut feeling. Met the whole family, and then a few months ago we got them to sign paperwork, and now we're partners.
That's
in developing
incredible.
this.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I love the synchronicity of that story.
Yeah.
It gives me so much faith in entertainment and its role in shifting culture,
right,
and telling stories. Because the way that all came together, like your boyfriend, the family,
Yeah.
they trusted you, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, that's massive for them to be turning that down, but for you to also have had that experience yourself.
Right, and that's one thing that my mom was always so upset about. She goes, "Name the school," which I won't now, but it's not worth it. But I was telling my mom, I was like, it's so funny. At 5 years old, this happened to me. Who knew that rejection would lead to this opportunity?
Amazing, yeah.
Years later, I mean,
Absolutely.
you just never know.
Absolutely, and what a beautiful connection. Do you reckon that's the reason that the family felt like, that was one of the reasons?
I think it was a part of that. Us Latinos, we're very big about gut feeling. Mm. And one thing that they said, they're like, you can't really translate it. They said, we just had a presentimiento, which means intuition. And I think just in conversing with her and, growing up in this industry, being very passionate about my culture and really wanting this to be a part of our education, I think is what really drove them to be like, okay.
I love that. Where does that Latino gut intuition come from? Like, when did you start saying that to yourself? When did that start being a way you made decisions in your life?
When my mother knew things about me that there was no way she would have known about, and unless it was that gut intuition. Yeah. I'm like, "Mom, how do you know this?" She goes, "I just know." It's just the weirdest intuition that women develop.
Can you tell us one of those examples? Do you remember any off the gut?
I mean, this might be TMI. This is really TMI, but it's one of those things where nothing happened. I saw my mom one day. I went to visit her at a restaurant, and she goes, "You lost your virginity yesterday." And I was like, "How do you know that?" It was one of that's
wow.
How crazy it is. There's no way she would have known.
Yeah.
But she just knew.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That was the best example you could have given us. Yeah.
TMI.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And I love how true that is for you, because even your role in Grownish, mm-hmm. is like challenging typecasts, right? It's like
Challenging typecasts?
as in like you're challenging how ethnicity and backgrounds are presented.
I think it is in any role, period.
Right.
I mean, I think before, when I was first starting in this industry, I was just so desperate to work. I was like, I'll do anything. And now I'm more so standing up for my culture, and just my characters, and, you know, saying, I don't feel comfortable saying that, or this is a bit stereotypical.
That's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's with every role.
Right.
And just even myself, there was a line, we're shooting season 2 right now, and, you know, I have a scene with someone where we're talking about relationships, and he's saying, you know, girls get crazy, whatever. And my line was, well, girls only get crazy because, and I went to the producers and I said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable saying that, because I'm almost condoning the fact that girls go crazy. So they were very open to that. And, you know, I was able to say quote unquote, whatever. But, you know, stuff like that, I'm very much about standing up for. Any sort of body shaming, I won't talk about. I'm just more open and like really standing up for my own personal beliefs that will coincide with the characters.
That's amazing. When do you feel, or what made you feel confident to even have that conversation? Because from conversations I've had with artists and actors before, it's very much like, well, that's the script, and it's not really something that shifts much.
Right.
So when did you develop that confidence, or have you always had it, and where's it come from? And
I think one, turning 30 really made me be like, I don't care as much. But 2, honestly, it's the Me Too movement. Because once these stories started coming out, I realized that a lot of things that I wasn't okay with, but I was quiet about, were actually not okay. So because women started speaking out about their experiences, and even men too were speaking out on this stuff, and the time's up, I just started being more comfortable being verbal, especially because now people do get in trouble for it. So, and people are very open-minded. I work with the best writers and producers and stuff. So it's just a conversation. And you hear this growing up, but it doesn't really hit you until you're older, I guess, or something happens where like the worst thing they can say is no. So might as well try, or you're just gonna regret and be like, what if I should have, and I hate saying I should have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I recognize and value that so much. I admire it so much, because I think I always said that if we don't see the culture of media shift, then we can't expect in real life. I remember when you started to see more LGBTQ representation in media, then people feel like they can be themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, off screen and offline.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fact that you're doing that, like that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Like it's such a huge thing to do. And whether that's you representing your background, your walk of life, your philosophy, your ideologies, whatever it is, I think it's such an important stand. So I just want to recognize you for that.
I appreciate
and
that.
applaud
Thank
you for
you.
it.
Thank you.
I think it's hopefully going to give anyone who's listening, like more upcoming artists also, the feeling to...
The freedom to do so.
Freedom,
and there's a way to go about it. Just do it with grace. Have a conversation about it. Like I don't come with an attitude. I'm not yelling. I try to, not sometimes. Sometimes it slips. But yeah, you just got to have a conversation. Be like, this is where I'm coming from with it. Just with any relationship, communication is key. You got to be the change. So, just talk about it.
Where did you get this amazing attitude? I love it, because that's what I've been experiencing on Instagram. And I'm like, every time you post something, I'll be like, oh my God, Francis is so like evolved. And just, in a good way. Like you just have this awesome energy about it.
I appreciate it.
And I was just like, where do you get it from? Where does it come from?
Honestly, lots of therapy and church. A lot of church, yeah.
Nice.
I've been actively going to church for a while now, but I think in 2000, what year are we in? 16?
2018.
16, 15, I was going consistently every Sunday and just really soul searching and having conversation, just really understanding things a lot differently than the way I was seeing them.
That's beautiful. And that was not something that you did since you were young. It was something that came later on.
Yeah, it came later on. When I was younger, I mean, I went through, as many people have, a lot of trauma growing up. And I was just angry, and I was going through a lot of pain, and I was just so confused. And I started working at 17 years old, so I went from being a senior in high school to filling out W-2s, not understanding what I was filling out. And at the time, I was dating someone that was 19 years older than me, so I was just so confused about life and just lost. And I didn't actually receive therapy from that relationship till about, almost 8 years later, where I actually realized what kind of trauma I had gone through, what kind of verbal abuse I had gone through. And just really had to grow up because it came to a point where I was just so depressed and I could not get out of my closet. Like that's where I would pray and just cry was my closet, and I just could not leave. And I was like, I can't live like this anymore. So, my pastor came into my life, who's like my big brother now. My acting coach said, I won't coach you unless you go to therapy.
Wow.
And so I was really forced by my loved ones to seek help. And here I am a few years later. But I needed it and I wanted it. And I've learned that it's really a choice. Like people can tell you things or you can give advice, but if they're not ready to hear it, like there's no point to it.
Yeah.
And I was just at that point where I was ready.
It's amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, such a beautiful message also for loved ones to hear that.
Yeah.
That they have to do or play their role.
Yeah.
Like what you just said, your acting coach wouldn't work with you if you didn't.
Yeah.
And just playing that role, but then you're still saying it's your responsibility, it's your choice.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they got to play their role, but also be patient with you when, you reject it and or accept it. Because, I mean, just like any other drug, I think pain could be addicting. And it's so hard to get out of that because you're so used to living in that dark for so long that once you see the light, you're like, my eyes hurt, I don't want to do this. So you go back into the darkness.
Yeah.
And it's going past that pain, past
like
that
being in
addiction.
bed.
Yeah.
It's like being in bed and trying to wake up. It's so easy to just stay under your covers.
Yeah,
'cause it
and make
feels cozy.
excuses.
Yeah,
Like,
make excuses.
I'll work out tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Self-pity is so addictive.
Very addictive. Yeah, very addictive.
That's amazing. It's nice to see how different people find different things that create that. But therapy and church seem to be popular.
Yeah.
Something spiritual and something therapeutic that helps you talk it through.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you now providing? Are you someone who is a helper amongst your friends too, and like guiding them through their challenges? And
sometimes it depends on the situation. If they look for it and want to have a conversation, for sure. I mean, I have a different group of friends. We have group chats going on, and if they come to me, then for sure I'm there. But sometimes it's like you got to wait to see if they're ready, or if there's a point where I'm like, we need to have a conversation. What's going on with you? Then I will. But it just really depends. You don't want to force it on anyone either. I didn't like it when people forced it on me. So I don't do that. I'm really big about if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you have to give people that freedom. Yeah, if it doesn't feel like your choice, you're never going to follow up.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I read somewhere that you were talking about the child of an immigrant work ethic. And yeah. And I love that.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Like what? To say what?
No, just like what do you mean by that? Because I think like that theme is kind of coming out a lot more in media now. A lot of people are like, I'm a child of an immigrant. It comes with a certain work ethic. It's impacting my success. How has it impacted yours?
Well, let's see. When President Trump came into office, just like many people, I was very angry, especially because while he was running, he talked about my family. And I say my family because I am Mexican and Hondureña, and we consider each other family, as aliens, as rapists, as murderers, and all this stuff. And I've always been proud of being a first-generation American and speaking Spanish growing up. I'm bilingual. And then that was tested when he started running. And so I started being more active and outspoken about how proud I am of our culture. And my father actually was born and raised in Honduras, came out here when he was probably in his 20s after both his parents died, and doesn't speak a lick of English to this day. Someone told him when he landed, if you want to make it in Hollywood, you have to learn English or you're never going to make it. And he said, watch me. And in 2014, he got a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame and still does not speak English. He's been very successful in his career. And I think his work ethic and the fact that I had hope and what can happen living right next to me is what's really made me be like, no, we're not aliens, we're not murderers. Like my father helped change the world a bit, and that he's a Latin man who doesn't speak English. What are you talking about? So I think that's where that comes about, and my passion for it. And again, there's other people that are first generation.
What an incredible role model to have right next to you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. How has that had pressure, or has it just has positives?
There's been a bit of both. I mean, there's no positive without pressure, I think.
Okay, nice. I like that.
Yeah. So growing up, there was a bit of pressure, I guess. I didn't understand it growing up because my father was famous, and again, I didn't know him walking down the street and people asking for photos. I didn't understand it because to me it's just my dad. And I remember being like, Dad, when we go out today, you're not allowed to take pictures and you're not allowed to meet people. And if he did, I would cry and be like, you promised me, not understanding. And then it just felt a little pressure because I had to hold up this persona because I'm Kukui's daughter and I didn't understand what that meant. And then when I chose to be a part of this industry, kind of living up to his name a little bit, because he's a huge activist, and I think that's why he got the star. One, his ratings were really great in the Latin market, but also he's, started a nonprofit, and when the earthquake in El Salvador happened, he built homes and he built churches and he built schools and he went to Nigeria. He's huge in philanthropy. So
wow.
Yeah.
So now, seeing your success, if you were to ever have kids, I don't know if you want to have kids, but if you were to ever have kids, how would you do it with them, with people wanting to take pictures with you and reliving that? How would you manage that?
I don't know. I've never even thought about it that way.
Sorry, I'm like fast forwarding.
You're fine. Because obviously it is a thought. Like ever since I turned 30, I was like, okay. Because my mom brought it up. She goes, I do want to know what it's like to have grandkids. Like, no pressure. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just having to explain it. Yeah. I don't know. That's
your kid's gonna be born with 1 million followers already on Instagram. That's like the new thing, right? Like, I see it with so many people. Like the child's born and they have 1 million Instagram followers, and then it just goes up.
And they make money, and they don't even understand.
Absolutely,
it's crazy to me.
That they're advertising like the latest sneakers or whatever.
Yeah, I know exactly. I'm one of those
cute.
people.
Part of it's cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. Gosh, that's a good question. I don't even know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'll let
Your
you know.
mom asked me to ask you, so. Messing around. Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I think about a lot as well. It's just, the culture that, not just that, but the culture that we all grew up in. It was different for me growing up in London.
Yeah.
And, I remember like my parents would never get me a pair of Nike sneakers, because it was just like, no, you can't have those. Like we can't afford them, whatever it was. And then I remember getting my first pair. And then now I'm in a very different world.
Yeah.
And you just wonder how different things impact. And even hearing your story of the background and culture you've grown in. Yeah. I'm always just fascinated by how people get their incredible ideologies.
Yeah, I remember that too, where we couldn't afford anything. And then my dad took me to Toys R Us one time and said, get whatever you want. And I was like, what? You're not limiting me to like one toy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully when I have kids, I can provide. Yeah. But I think, it's having a conversation. I don't think they ever really talked to me about what he did and help me understand it. It was just like, this is what he does, and it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that would be a hard conversation.
I don't think they understood, because Hollywood wasn't like a thing. I mean, growing up in Honduras and Mexico was just a dream, but I grew up with it over the hill. And so I think it's just having a conversation. My parents weren't very open with having conversations with us. They were very like conservative and old school and stuff. I mean, I remember when I asked my mom what a virgin was, she goes, it means when you're not married. Right. And when you're not a virgin, you're married. And that was it. That's how I found out about sex. That's what it was.
Wow.
You're just, so they didn't talk to me much.
And then she told you were married.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting. That's awesome. Everyone who's listening right now, Francia learns all her lines the day before a shoot. Like, I'm so impressed right now.
Yeah.
You have an epic memory.
Yeah, you just told on me to production. It's okay, because I was no.
Sorry. Oh, yes.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah. No, it's fine, because, as long as I am prepared when we run lines and when we're shooting, it's fine. But that's the best way that I learn. Like, I can't do it too many times before, because then you over rehearse, and there is such thing as over rehearsing, and then you're more in your head, and it's not as organic. I mean, like you and I are having a conversation right now. I mean, if this were a scene, I would have learned it right before, because I want to actually listen to your dialogue, and if I over rehearse, I'll know your dialogue, then I'm not hearing you, and then I won't react organically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has your style evolved? Has your workflow evolved as you've been? What's been like the newest lesson that you've learned in your space?
Probably like what I just talked about is listening. Really, really listening. Improvisation a little bit, because it's my first time on a comedy. Yeah. And, they kind of give us wiggle room to ad-lib or improvise. And I don't think I've really gotten much of that before. Right. So it's really made me stand up and like listen and be on my toes and come up with something clever. Yeah. Which that's actually really hard. So SNL people, you guys. Woo!
Do you think you become funnier in the process?
I hope so.
Yeah?
I really hope so.
What is your
I get
boyfriend?
some laughs.
Yeah, definitely.
We listen for that because if Video Village is where the producers and the writers sit, if we don't hear them laughing, we're like, am I not funny?
Oh, no.
And when we hear them laugh, even though sound hates it, we're like, no, it makes us feel good.
What's that pressure like though? It's like, because that's, I guess, very different to having your lines, doing your script. Here, you've got that room.
Right.
It's like, how does that feel? Like trying to wait for laughs, etc. You're almost like a stand-up comedian, and then.
I know, right? It's better now because we're all family. This is the second year that we've been working together, and I think I put more pressure on myself than anyone did because I was so used to drama, and I can cry on cue, but comedic timing is crazy and it's a real thing. So I was just putting a lot of pressure on myself, but I've chilled out a lot this season and just kind of let it happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm going to be looking out for now those moments where I'm like,
yeah,
that's Francia being comedic and having those moments. When I see your work and I follow you on Insta, etc., as I was saying earlier, you seem like someone who really values your physical and your mental health.
Yeah.
Like someone who really prioritizes it. At least I feel that way.
Yeah.
And what kind of rituals or setups have you put into place that have helped you do that with a stressful career, with a pressurized lifestyle, with crazy travel plans, as we were discussing earlier?
Yeah.
What's become like priorities for you to make sure that both of those work well?
Church on Sundays. I have to, even if I'm traveling. I've been bad about going physically because of work and I'm tired, but they thankfully will stream it online. So
Nice.
I'll watch it online even if I hear it in the background. So that's been very important to me and very helpful. Journaling. I'm big about journaling, and I try to find time either in between takes or in the mornings. It's been harder in the mornings, but my ritual is waking up, making my coffee, going outside to journal, and then I go to the gym or yoga or something. And lately I've just been getting some friends to do yoga with me. I'm trying to get your wife to do it with me.
Do it.
Yeah.
She would love that.
Yeah, hot yoga.
Oh my God.
We just talked about it.
Yeah, please. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, so it's like, I just need that stress reliever.
Yeah, absolutely. And your journaling, was there a specific process that you did, or it was just letting all your thoughts from the day before, or what's that kind of taken, or is it just very open and random and spontaneous?
It could be random, spontaneous, but my journaling are my prayers because I'm very bad about being like, dear God. So I just write it, and what I do is I write letters to God.
I love that.
And then whatever flows.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Ever going to print it as a book?
Probably not.
Okay, these are personal.
Yeah, it's very
personal.
personal. I know people have approached me about that, but yeah, they're super personal. I think especially in this business, there's a lot of pressure to be public about things. So that stuff like that, I think is good to keep private, which is so weird to me because it wasn't a thing until social media came about. Because before it was like, keep your stuff private, Now it's like you get paid to be more open about your life.
Yes.
And, I think some people can tend to go crazy because you share too much. Just like when you're little, if you share too much gossip, it comes back to you. So I can't even imagine being in the public light with some of these relationships and breakups. I mean, it's breakups especially because you already have to deal with the breakup and then deal with people's opinions on top of that. It's just, it's a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like vulnerability is mistaken for telling everyone everything.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I don't know how you feel about that. That's how I feel. Like vulnerability to me doesn't mean telling everyone everything.
Yeah, no, it
because
doesn't.
I just don't think that that's going to be helpful to you or to everyone.
Right.
It's not useful.
Yeah, to me, vulnerability is just being transparent in what you feel comfortable in. Like, I'm being vulnerable right now and having this conversation, but I'm not telling you everything about my life. You don't have to be...
Why not? No. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I feel you're being transparent too. I feel like you're sharing. But yeah, it's relationships develop in layers. And you kind of move forward with people. And naturally your inner circle knows you better, etc. And trying to get everyone to understand you at the same level actually doesn't make sense.
No, especially at the speed that most people want to do it in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? It's like, I want to get to know you straight away now.
Yeah, and I'm like, chill out, bro. Chill. And as you know, I have friends that I've known for many years, like our mutual friend. I call him Rez.
Yeah, Rez. Shout out to Rez.
What's up, Rez?
And
Look at what you did.
Yeah, exactly. And Montana.
So, I've known him since we were 14 years old, but now it's like we're at a point where we know each other so well, but it wasn't because we, started sharing each other's secrets right away. We actually weren't friends in high school, and he hates that I talk about that, but I think it's really cool that, we actually weren't friends in high school. We developed a relationship afterwards, and now we're here where we just, like, intuition. We just know each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's such a nice message to everyone listening.
Yeah.
That it's okay if it takes time to become friends with people.
Friends, relationships, everything. There's no rush. There's absolutely no rush, especially relationships. I know people are like, after the first date, what is this?
Yeah.
And I was one of those girls, like very much about what is this? Where is this going? I just don't want to waste my time. And I understand that, but it's okay to be friends first. I think those are the best relationships.
Yeah, I've been saying to a lot of people as well that just everything is so much more gray rather than black and white. Like it's like this or that. And we're much like all in or nothing.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, what's happening or it's not happening. And it's almost like, well, actually things are so much more gray.
Yeah.
And you allow it to develop organically and naturally rather than rushing in or rushing out.
Yeah.
But it takes time and it takes like
time.
Yeah. And energy, like real amounts of energy and connection, which I feel like we have less and less time. So.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Which is true. Which we were trying to figure out. We were like trying to schedule a dinner.
I know.
And then we were both like, maybe 2019.
Yeah, I know.
We'll try and make it happen before.
Yeah. You got to meet my boyfriend.
Yeah, I really want to.
Yeah.
Tell me why you think we'll get along.
I think on a spiritual conversation, you guys will get along. He's very much about meditation as well. So I feel like you guys will get along that way. And I just have a feeling.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
you guys will get along.
You have the gut intuition.
Yeah.
Well, no, I need to talk to you about your prayers too. I'm a huge fan of prayer.
Good.
I think prayer is probably one of the most beautiful things. And I remember when I first started praying, and this is beautiful talking about it with you. I didn't even plan this, but when I first started praying, I'd always be like, I don't know what to say. And then now that prayer has become so much more natural in a conversation, it's almost like you feel inspired to pray.
Right.
Like the prayers are coming through you and to you as opposed to you having to think about what to say or saying the same thing every day. I don't know does that sound similar to your experience or what's yours like?
So when I first started praying, and I'm going to share this because I don't know if this will speak to someone. Obviously I was like just sitting there. I'm like, I'm talking to myself. I don't know what. So I started journaling and those were my letters to God. But it came to a point where I felt disconnected. And I was like, I don't hear God the way that I used to, or I don't feel things the way I used to, and I'm having a harder time. And I was really discouraged, really frustrated. And this happened earlier this year, and I was going to my pastor. I'm like, I come to church, but I feel so disconnected. I remember during worship, I would cry because I would feel it, and now it's just very like blank to me. And one thing he said to me was, you're not praying the way that you used to. When you used to pray, when you first started, you were in a broken place. Of course you heard God differently because it was a broken person seeking that. But now that you have Christ in you, it's just in you. You're not going to hear him the same way because you're acting Christ-like, which is what we are taught in church, is to be more Christ-like. So when you're more Christ-like, it's not that you're disconnected. You're just living and walking in what, Christ wants you to be walking in. So it's definitely been different now because now it's like, I hear about the fires. I'm like, dear God, please with these fires. I was like praying for rain, something, it's just more of a conversation, whether it's in my car, in the shower, just like you and I are talking right now. It's not so much like, okay, I got a journal. I'm going to be quiet and listen to worship, or sometimes even just listening to music. Worship music is my form of praying, and it's just a conversation and just the way I'm acting or the decisions that I make and how I handle certain situations is my form of being more Christ-like and handling prayer.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love that acceptance also of we do change the way we communicate. Yeah. Just like we do in our relationships.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's not like, because it was good then. Yeah. It's like that same feeling has to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's hard to accept because I was like, I'm not as connected anymore. What's going on? I'm going to church, but it's just, I'm not so broken anymore where I hear it the same. That's the difference. And that's where, you can either try to go back to being in that dark place so you can hear it the same way, or you just kind of accept the new chapter that you're kind of enduring, which is what we work so hard towards.
Yeah, you've just opened up a new thought for me. It's so often that we actually recreate more drama to feel that brokenness again, because that makes us feel connected.
Yeah, it's addictive.
Yes.
It's addictive. Yeah, so we can have something going on or wrong with us. I'm like, I'm not crying in therapy as much as I used to. Let me try to make something up. Or my boyfriend and I are getting along. That's weird. Let me start a fight.
I hope you're not going to do that.
No, I've been good. Yeah. I mean, if anything, I'm like more open, like, hey, I've been snappy lately. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. No, we do the same. I always do that. I think I apologize to my wife like all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so much more aware now of the way I'm behaving.
Yeah.
So it's so much more easier to catch myself
Yeah.
behaving in a way I don't like or being distracted or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Than just being like, I'm sorry I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And please forgive me because I'm going to do that when, or just being aware and actually being able to inform the other person of why you're behaving that way.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm trying to do this right now.
Yeah.
And that means, I don't know, yeah.
No, same. I mean, I've been more aware and I'm like, I'm sorry and recognizing it before. And before I used to be like, it's your fault because you didn't put the toilet seat down, so it's making me react this way, you know? So now I'm more like communicative. Is that how you say it? Communicative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put the toilet seat down, gents.
Put the toilet seat down.
Yeah, make it easy. Make it easy for yourself. There are easy things like that in relationships though.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. It's like, I always found, like me and my wife, by far the best and the easiest and the most amazing relationship I've ever been in. Obviously, that's why we got married. But the interesting thing about it is that I feel like I never wanted to be in a relationship where we just argued over the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Or the small stuff.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that was the easy stuff that we really should change, adapt, clear, like make it easy on yourself.
Yeah.
Because relationships as you grow gets harder in different ways.
There's so many different ways. I think I thought it was good. I was like, I'm great. Because I was celibate and for like a year and a half, I wouldn't date. And I was like, you know, let me just focus on myself and grow because there's no way I can keep a relationship right now because I'm not happy. So after a year and a half, I met him and I still wasn't even ready to date, but he came in my life and I was like, you know what? I can handle this because I'm so good. And then realizing, oh, you're still a shitty person in some capacity because even though I'm good, I'm selfish now. So now I have to learn to not be selfish and communicate and, you know, compromise, which is like the biggest thing is compromising.
Yeah. Is that bad? And we're back.
Yes, we're back.
After that technical difficulty of some roof work going on.
Yeah.
I think. But no, we were so, and I love where we were because we were talking about relationships.
Yeah.
And so much of my audience is watching a lot of my videos which are about relationships. I'm fascinated by them because I had so many failed relationships previously.
Same.
To my marriage.
Same.
Oh, good. Okay. So we're on the same wavelength. And I failed so many times. I made so many mistakes. I got so many things wrong. And I wanted to help people, whoever wanted to avoid those same mistakes.
Right.
And allow me to explore content around relationships because I really do feel it takes up such a big part of our lives. Mm-hmm. And we were both talking about ours. So we were diving into just awareness on when you walk into a relationship, someone's at a certain level, someone's at a different level.
Yeah.
And how sometimes some people have to be patient and wait.
Yeah.
Tell me when you've got it wrong and now when you're getting it right, when you're understanding yourself better versus when you didn't.
Well, I think when I first got into my relationship, I was still very selfish and very much about my ways. And I wasn't necessarily looking for a relationship. I hate saying this, but it does happen when you least expect it. So 2017, yes, was a crazy year for me. I had just sold my home and I didn't have a home because I was leaving to film the day I closed escrow. And so I didn't want to get into a new house and not even be there. So, and I sold all of my furniture. I just needed to get rid of everything. I had too many memories and energies that I didn't want, and it was just time for a change. And that probably was the best decision that I'd ever made. Like so many of those energies are just gone. They're not a part with me, and it just made a whole weight just lift off of me. Very expensive, but also very healing for me. And so I moved in with one of my friends. Many of you know this story with my friend Selena, and I was in that new search of myself. I had been going to church and therapy and, clean slate. And then, I went through a kidney transplant and I booked Grownish a few weeks after the transplant. And so I was like, wow, life is definitely taking a turn just from me getting rid of that old energy. So it was just like a turn of events that happened. And I didn't even realize that there were certain choices that I had to make in order to jump into that new way of life that I wanted. And sometimes it's hard decisions like selling your home that I had lived in for 8 years. And I kid you not, I woke up at 3:00 in the morning and God was like, you got to sell your house. And I had felt it months prior, but I wouldn't listen. And then I was put in a position where I just had to. I remember having the worst anxiety and I was cringing. I couldn't sleep. I was crying. And it was the best decision I'd ever made, cleansing myself of all of that. And I met my boyfriend on set. I don't remember meeting him. He said he does, but he said he knew just from looking at my headshot. And he was like, who is that? And I think some people were like, don't mess with an actress. Which, whatever. But he started talking to me pretty immediately on set. And I didn't really notice it because, I just wasn't mentally there. I was just trying to do a good job. And I had so much stress on myself that no one else put me in, of like being funny or just even, at the time I was 29 years old and I was playing 18. So I was like, I need to look young and I need to act young and everyone else is young. And it was just like unnecessary pressure I just put on myself. And he just knew, and was like 2 weeks into filming, he had invited me to Catalina Island to celebrate his birthday, and it was just me, and I was like, no, I don't know you, you might kill me. And I was he was like, why not? And I'm like, I don't know you, I'm not about to get on a boat with you to go to some island, that's like weird. And I was really shocked because my sister, who never usually likes anyone, was the one that pushed it. And I went, and at lunch, I was such a brat. The minute I got there, I was like, I get seasick, just so you know. And I was like, well, I'm here, but I don't want to be here, just so you know. Like, I was just so mean, but he was just so like persistent about it. And we actually ended up having a really good time. And then I ghosted him as much as I could because we were working together for like a month. Way. I swear. I ghosted him for a month. I would see him at work and he was like trying to be sweet. Like, you're so beautiful. I'm like, stop talking to me. Like, you're doing the most right now. And basically, like, we're a year in and we're good. But what I was talking to you about earlier is like, he was somewhere where I just wasn't yet, and I wanted to take my time. And I was so good about rushing into relationships, and after the first date being like, what are we? I didn't understand casual dating. Yeah. Kind of like they do on The Bachelor, where they date multiple girls or guys at a time. I just didn't know how to do that. So if I went on a date with you, I'm like, okay, cool. So when's our next date? And if I went on a date with someone else, I think I did it one time where I was like dating a couple guys and it just backfired on me. And I was like, I don't understand how people do this, and it's okay. Like, I don't get it. So with him, I just was like, all right, let me just take it really slow. We went to Catalina, but I'm just not there. He called me. He actually called, not text. He called, and I was like, what do you want? Like, I'm not here right now. And he just kept pursuing, which is crazy because everything that I had wanted in a guy, he was doing, and I was rejecting it because I wasn't used to it. I was so used to being ghosted or being hit up late at night, you up, or, being a secret, or just all the toxic things that you don't want. I was so used to that, and he wasn't doing it. And so I was rejecting it, and I didn't want it. And then it took about 7 months for me to get to where we're at now, even though like I'd been posting about him sooner, because I always knew that I wanted to be with him, but I just was still kind of hesitant because I was just scared. And I learned that like, it's definitely a choice. It's definitely a choice to work through things with someone. And he chose every day to keep choosing me, even though I was acting like a brat.
But what was it more than the persistence? Because I'm sure people have been persistent with you before, and that's sometimes not enough. Or was that? It was just different. I just could not let him go for some reason. Like, as much as I tried, I would still pick up his phone call, or I would text him like, you haven't called me today. It was just different. I think also the fact that my sisters, not having met him, were so supportive of it. Yes. Also, Yara Shahidi, I blame her, and her mother, because they talked him up, and they were like, you don't understand, he doesn't do this. I'm like, yes, he does. I'm an actress. He's in the crew. I'm sure there's plenty of other actors. Like, no. And so I think finding out that this was out of character for him was what made me be like, oh, you might be a little different. And this is how he got me to hang out with him after Catalina.
After Catalina.
He came up to me one day on set and said, can I come to church with you? What am I saying? No.
No, you're not allowed to come to church.
You can't come to church.
MySpace.
So yeah, it was smooth.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I can't wait to meet him now.
Yeah, he's great.
I love it. And now if you read Francis' messages, they're so about him on Instagram. They're so
different,
cute and adorable, and
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, but it's nice to see. I just love I'm so glad you shared that, because I love how you didn't rush into something when you didn't feel ready. Mm-hmm. At the same time, amazing props to him for actually waiting, sticking around, being patient, not rushing it.
Yeah.
And then actually saying like, yeah, this is working for me.
Right.
Whereas today I find like I do see a lot of, Okay, let's talk about this because you could say it from your perspective. I do see a lot of this today. A lot of guys are trying to do everything nicely and well and provide, whatever they're trying to do. They're trying to like wine and dine and date and all the rest of it. But a lot of girls are like resisting.
Because we're not used to it.
Right. Okay. So tell us a bit about that. Like, if someone's in that same scenario, what signs should they be looking for?
As a female or as a male?
As a female.
As a female, I think where I was at a point where I was just tired of toxic relationships, and it was really necessary for me to take that break for 1.5 years. So it was a choice, and if you're ready to break that cycle and you want a relationship and you don't understand why you're single and you don't understand what's not working, take a year, and which might sound like a long time, but it took me 1.5 years, but take a year, take 6 months, whatever, just to yourself. Because unless you step away from whatever is keeping you in that darkness, you're never going to be able to see the light. So it's like, your body, when you start eating healthy and you're so used to eating fast food, your body adjusts to eating fast food. But when you start going through a detox, you're going through a lot of pain, your stomach hurts, you're releasing a lot of things. And then let's say you eat clean for about a month. If you even touch a French fry, your stomach starts to hurt because you've cleansed it so much that you're not even used to that, that toxic, those toxic foods and oils anymore. Your body's like rejecting it. So I think in life and period, you have to do that, where you kind of have to step away and take that out of your vision. And so you can kind of clear your mind, be more about yourself. And then when you step back into it, you have more of a clearer vision of who you are and what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
When are you writing a book?
Oh gosh.
No, genuinely, I'm not messing around. Like, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
It's the same with any sort of diet. Yeah.
And what signs should guys be looking for? If they're being really persistent, they really like a girl, they're really making the effort, but she's resisting and pushing back, what should they really be doing, and what signal should they be looking for?
I guess the signal with me, it's hard. I think really understanding where they are in life, the best thing you can do is be their friend.
That's awesome. It's beautiful to hear it. I love it. And thank you for being so open and honest. I think it really helps the conversation.
I don't think I ever really have. I'm starting to more so this year because I've just been through such crazy experiences, and I feel like people really need to learn it. Just like I value from it when I go to church, because pastors, they pour their own life out as they're also teaching the Bible. I think it's important for us, especially given the platform that I've been given, to kind of speak out about it. And it really does make me feel good when girls come up to me or people comment on Instagram that like it really kind of helped their day a little bit. And I think that's what it's about at the end of the day, is just kind of giving back and helping grow in this crazy little life.
So it seems like relationships has been an area where you've really learned a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
Work has too, in terms of the incredible work that you're doing, which we spoke about earlier. Has there been any other area of your life that's exciting you, or something new that you're trying to learn right now, or something that's fascinating you that hasn't been around before?
Like what? There's so many things.
Okay, let's start with activism. Let's start with anything that you're being an activist for, something that you're standing up for, something that you're really passionate about right now. Obviously, I'm super passionate about the Latino community right now, which is why I'm really excited to bring the Mendez story to life. And then I wasn't so outspoken about, my culture. I mean, I was always like, I'm Latina and I'm proud or whatever. But I've had some people come up to me being like, thank you for talking a lot more. And I was like, I gotta be honest, I just was scared before because, I don't want to complain so much about being Latina and not being able to work, because I've been very fortunate that I am Latina and I have been able to work in Hollywood, and it has been difficult, but I also wanted to praise the people that gave me an opportunity. And also, I didn't want to complain without having a solution. Mm-hmm. Someone challenged me in that one day, like, okay, you're complaining about this, what's your solution? So now I'm more open to talking about it. And because I've gone through, I guess, sort of a change within myself, I wasn't so angry anymore, and I've learned to have a lot more grace in communicating and stuff like that. And obviously being a voice for those who don't have a voice, being a first generation Mexican and Honduran American, just kind of speaking out about, what we're kind of going through and how we do bring value into America, as some people might think we don't. Yeah, and I'm sure you're getting a lot of positive feedback and support.
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been really amazing. The feedback, the support, how, a lot of other fellow Latinos are like, thank you for finally speaking up, which I'm glad that I waited. because I'll talk about this, and it coincides with that. My kidney donation, for example. Many people have told me, why don't you speak more about that? Why aren't you an activist on organ donation? And to me, my response is, it's something that I personally went through. It was a personal choice. It just happened to be very public because of who I gave it to. But I want to be able to talk about it when I'm ready. And I don't want to feel forced just because I have a platform, because then what I'm saying is not genuine, it's not sincere, and it's still a lifestyle that I'm adjusting to. Also, again, it was a personal choice, and I understand my platform, but I still need to personally understand why I made that choice and how I feel about it, and kind of educate myself more before going out and talking about it. And there's just so much pressure put on celebrities where it's like, well, you've done this and you've gone through that, so you need to talk about it. It's like, no, I don't. I really don't. I mean, I will at some point, but in my own time, when I have the right words and it sounds genuine and not like I'm a robot and someone was feeding me these lines. And because people can tell, especially nowadays with social media and stuff, it's just so easy to tell what's fake and what's real and what's paid and what's not paid.
That is such a great lesson.
Yeah.
Like what you just shared is such a great lesson. Like just A, about being ready, and B, about having the right words.
Yeah.
It's not just a broadcast. It's not like a tweet. It's not just a message of like, yeah, this is what I'm doing right now. Because if you've been able to process it, learn from it, reflect on it, think about, like what you said, like you were just adjusting to a new lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so when you're transitioning, it's very hard to articulate how you feel.
Yeah, exactly.
To explain how you feel.
And so many people are being forced to just talk about it.
Because popularity, etc., and just breaks you through and people start talking about you a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And same with, growing up a Latina and now working in Hollywood, like I didn't understand. I needed the right words. I hadn't gone through enough struggle to really understand until, recently, because, my dad helped me understand that I can do it, and most people don't have the advantage. So I needed to go through my own Hollywood experience to be able to sit here and be like, all right, here's the deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I think everyone listening, that's like a huge, huge takeaway.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many takeaways from our conversation, but that's a huge one, just about being ready, going through the process, doing the work, going through the journey.
It's not easy. Doing the work is probably the hardest part. It's the hardest part. Like, being in college, studying for the final, it's the hardest part is studying. And then once you're done, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then comes life.
And then comes life.
Yeah.
And then comes other things. And then comes other challenges. And one thing my therapist said, and she keeps repeating it to me until it finally hit me, was nothing in life is fair. Nothing in life is logical. The minute you understand that and accept it, you'll understand freedom. And it's very true.
Absolutely. Do you want to unpack that a bit? It makes sense as it is, but let's unpack it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what did you get from it?
So no, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think I say something similar to myself. But if we take that nothing in life is fair, a lot of people take that as negative. So a lot of people hear that and go, oh, well, if life's not fair, then life's not going to do anything for me. I'm not even going to try because life's not fair, right? Like, because that makes some people, not me, makes people feel like hopeless and helpless and like, well, life's not fair. Even if I work hard, nothing's going to happen because life's not fair. So I'm just going to sit in bed all day. So let's unpack it from that. Like, how do you understand it in a way that doesn't give you that feeling?
Well, I'll speak as an actress. Nothing in life is fair. Sometimes a person will get a job that I was up for, and I know I work way harder than that person, and I know that I put more time into studying, and this person just got a DUI the other day, but because they have more followers, they got the job. That's not fair. And so what I've had to learn that is, it's not fair, but that also wasn't the job for me. That's the door that wasn't supposed to be open. Another door was supposed to be open. For example, I was on a show, and I got recast, and I was like, the hell? That's never happened to me. It was like, I just got fired. Whoa. And it was not fair. I didn't understand. It was the dumbest. I actually can't even tell you the reason. I don't know, because I never got a phone call. I never got any sort of explanation. But I kid you not, it wasn't fair. But then I wouldn't be on Grownish right now. So again, like I said, rejection leads to opportunity. So I don't know what happened. okay, so that person doesn't work as hard. That lifestyle, whatever their choices are, is not my problem. And if I focus on that, on what isn't fair, then I'm not able to move on with my life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have another opportunity. It just wasn't that one, which is fine. And that's the hard part, is accepting, okay, it's fine that I didn't get that one.
Yeah. No, I love that. And that seems to be a recurring theme in your life as well, of rejection and then opening.
Oh, that's the only thing this business is rejection. Yeah, it's more rejections than positives.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this 13 years, and my resume, I'm grateful for it. But out of let's say there's 10 things on my resume, I auditioned for thousands of them, and I got no's, and I got 10 yeses.
Yeah, it's such a numbers game.
Yeah.
Like success and failure and breaking through is such a numbers game.
Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I remember I before I ever made a video, I had this idea that I wanted to share mindful messages that were hopefully going to be empowering and positive and uplifting. And I was pitching it around to all these media companies because I never had any background in the media. Like, no one in my family has ever worked in the media. I don't have any network that's ever worked in the media. I just don't know anyone growing up in London. All my family are like doctors or lawyers and dentists. And so I'm pitching this idea out, and literally 40 to 50 media companies just said, we're not interested because you have no media background, you have no journalism background, you've never made a video before in your life, despite the fact that I'd studied and taught that for so long.
Right.
And one thing I always say to people is, you just need one person to say yes, right? You just need one yes.
Yeah.
And we're so worried by like the 1,000 no's.
Yeah, Lady Gaga says that right now all the time. She goes, 100 people will say no to you. You just need that one yes. But also you need that work ethic to keep going so you can get that one yes. And that's what's hard. And then you got to sit back and realize, why am I doing this? Is it because I want the notoriety for it, or is it because I want to help people? Because every job is to help somebody.
Yes.
It's not just for yourself. Obviously, there's reward to it. Like, for example, for us, there are a lot of events and people that we get to meet. Those are the rewards that we get for doing what we do. But then there's also the other reward of being able to speak for those that can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's where you got to focus on.
Yeah, and you do that so well. Like, you're using the platform to do that so much. How did you do it though with the rejections? How do you do it in a way where you can observe and judge yourself so you know you need to change? Like, because when you're hearing no often, there's one school of thought that's like, yeah, just keep going. But then there's the other school of thought like, am I getting no because I also need to grow?
Yeah.
Right? Am I hearing no because I also need to change or progress?
Right.
How have you factored that into your own work and career?
A lot of honest people in my life. And again, I was just ready to hear it and change and learn it and kind of talk about the pain I was going through. When I first started working with my manager, he was very transparent with me on, how people viewed me. And then I was very transparent with him, like, okay, so this is what I've been going through and this is why I was acting like this. And I'm not that person anymore. And, it, my words can say it, but my action will say something differently. And so now I just, the no's that I get, the rejection that I get, I'm like, I dissect it a little bit. It's like, well, let me get feedback. Oh, it was because of this. Okay, all right, cool. Then I'll know that for next time rather than just dwelling and being upset. Because some have been career changers for some people. Yeah. And I'm like, this
could have been me.
Yeah, that could have been me. But I was too depressed. And honestly, if I would have gotten those jobs that would have changed my career, I wouldn't be here today. Personally, I probably would have fallen off the deep end somehow because I wasn't ready for it. And that's when I'm like, okay, God really knows when you're ready for something or not, because some people get it and they're not ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so much nicer when you can actually have your success when you're able to actually navigate it effectively.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
To have it when you can really appreciate it, you can acknowledge it, you can experience it, without sometimes externally having this success.
Yeah.
But then internally, you're not even actually processing any of that.
Right. I think it came to a point where it wasn't such a priority to me anymore. I remember my boyfriend makes fun of me now, but when we first met, I was like, work comes first. Work is number one, and then it's family, and then we'll fit you in there somewhere. Like, I was so like, work. And now I'm like, you know what? I just want to be able to eat every day and save and have a home. That's all I care about. It's not even so much about getting a job or reaching the capacity that I want to go to. It's just about being able to survive. And because I've changed my mentality, just all this work keeps coming, and I wasn't so focused on it, and to where I could appreciate it more and just kind of sit back and take my time with it.
That's such a beautiful place to be.
Yeah. I mean, it again goes with relationships. When you're not looking for it, it comes to you. When you're not
Yes.
looking for that job, somehow it comes to you. And my boyfriend's really big about that. He's very good about manifesting things, and then they just happen. And I'm like, please teach me that gift.
Yeah.
Like, he just quit a job recently, and he was like, I don't know what's going to happen. He's freelancing, and his phone hasn't stopped ringing.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me.
Yeah, so like, because so many people talk about manifesting as having a clear vision, knowing what you want, knowing, and I have my own thoughts on this, but so many people talk about manifesting as having a clear vision. Whereas when you're talking about, you're actually saying when you're not chasing something, that's when people are attracting it.
Yeah.
How have you thought that whole philosophy through?
I think it boils down to faith, being able to see the things that are not yet in front of you. So I'll go back to God. It's like, you know, for those that are believers, it's like, you know that God's always with you. You don't ever physically see him. You don't ever, you know, you don't have them by your side, but you know that it's there. And you know that it's there. So even like when you have a dream in your heart, and I truly believe that God's not going to put a dream in your heart if it's not going to happen, but you have to go through the growth of it. And that's the part that like people don't want to do.
Yeah.
My pastor said this one time. He was like, isn't it crazy how one day you're like, all right, I'm going to follow God, and I've changed, and I'm a new person, and everything's going to be great. And that's when you go through the worst time of your life. You go through hell after you say yes, and you're mad. You're like, it's been a month. I go to church every week. I pray. I read the Bible. Why is everything so bad?
Yeah.
And you know, he talks about a puzzle and how you got to break the puzzle and then kind of put it back together. But it's like you want God to fix everything in a week when you've been messing up your life for 25 years, and you expect it to be just good right away. So I think it all just comes to faith, and just having the faith that everything's gonna fall in place the way that you're supposed to. So I think with manifesting, it's so much more of like just believing in it and letting it happen organically the way it's supposed to, and not trying to force things. Because when you try to force something, that's when it's bad or wrong, or you just feel terrible about yourself. Like when you try to force a relationship that you clearly know you're not supposed to be in, and then you're depressed for 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I remember when I trained as a monk, so many of our teachings were in the same vein around it. When you pray for humility, your ego gets crushed.
Yeah.
So you're praying for humility. You're like, I want to be humble. I know that it's important to have humility and not have pride. And the next thing you know, like everyone's like blowing up your comments, or like everyone's coming up to you, and your ego's getting crushed.
Yeah.
And so when you're praying for strength, you're sent challenges.
Yeah.
Right? When you pray for strength, you have to be strengthened, and that's going to take challenges and going through pain.
Or when
you don't just get strength. You don't just one day wake up with more strength.
Or when you pray for patience.
Yeah.
And then your patience gets real tested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just, blindly trusting that things are going to be okay, just like we blindly trust an Uber driver to get us safe to our destination.
Yeah. I remember one of my friends actually told me once, he was like, I don't pray for that stuff because I know it's going to bring me pain. Like,
I know.
He was like, I'm not even going to pray for patience.
Even pastors say, don't pray for patience. That's the worst prayer you can give.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Because you'll be really pushed.
Oh, really, really pushed.
Yeah,
but, the other side looks great.
Yeah.
But everything takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the beautiful thing about getting that ability or that characteristic or that quality or whatever we want to call it, that virtue, is that it stays with you.
Yeah.
And you now have that in your toolkit.
Yeah.
Like once you've experienced patience or lived with patience, you can now use that again in the future.
Yeah.
It's not like you lose it.
Yeah. One of the things that I value more is grace. Once I understood grace, I've definitely had a lot more patience with people because I understand grace. And I'm glad that I went through the struggle of understanding what grace really was, so I can actually walk the way that I have been walking just from understanding that.
Can you define and share your understanding of grace for anyone who doesn't?
Oh God, it's so hard to define it.
I get that.
I think just having a patience with people. Like, for example, there are so many mistakes that I've made in my life, as we all have, growing pains or whatever, and God had the grace to still love me through it and take me to the other side. I know there's so many people who are like, I can't walk in church until I'm good with God, because if I walk in there, I'm going to turn into flames. I'm like, no, that's like the best time to actually walk into church, and that's when the angels are like, hallelujah.
Yeah.
And I think when I encounter people that probably don't have the best spirit or the best attitude, I just have a grace for them, because I'm like, you know what? I don't know the pain that they're going through. I don't know the darkness that they're in. It might look good on the outside, but something might be going on the inside. And I'm just a little more patient and just like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes people do press my buttons and I do snap. I am human. But I'm very good about going back and be like, yo, what's going on? Because I didn't like the way I reacted to this, and I reacted to this because you pushed me this way. But like, I'm sure something deeper is going on.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, well explained.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've always called it causeless mercy.
Yeah.
Mercy. And like, sometimes it's causeless, like you're feeling that love and kind and support, and then you start seeing it in the tough times.
Yeah.
And you start seeing it even through, you know, you see yourself being held when you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, this is so silly, but I watch wrestling,
Okay.
WWE, and a wrestler.
No way, still?
Yeah, still.
I love it.
Well, there was a wrestler that every time he came out on stage, he got booed. And people were mad because he didn't do a lot of stuff outside of the ring, like interviews or meet and greets. He didn't do anything. And he just came out in the ring about a month ago now, and he said, I've been battling leukemia for the last 11 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's back, and I can't fight anymore, so he has to go get treatment again. And it really just told me and showed me, like, you don't know what people are going through. So he's getting booed on stage, and people are saying he's the worst champion. I don't understand why he's where he's at, but it's like, I think his name is Roman Reigns. I think he just had a deeper understanding of what life really meant. And when he wasn't in the ring, he wanted to spend time with his family instead of trying to grow his fame even more than what it already was.
Yeah.
And that put it more into perspective again. Like everyone is going through something. You just don't know what it is. And then it came to that where people are like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. And even the other side, like I have a father figure and a spiritual mentor back in London who has been giving himself, like a pastor, like giving himself to people his whole life, like serving the community and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And recently he got diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, he never ever showed that he was struggling because he was able to like wake up early and serve his whole life and give himself. And it's almost like a lot of people took that for granted as well.
Yeah.
And kind of overused it sometimes. You know what I mean? Like when someone's really compassionate and kind and you're just like, oh yeah, they're like Superman. Like it's like no one ever loves Superman or cares for Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or whatever it is. Like that person is almost just living for others.
Yeah.
But everyone as humans has a limit.
Yeah.
And
then people get mad at him.
Yeah.
When I got back from Life Size, one of my castmates went through that. He had a conversation with me a few weeks ago, and he was like, I was really upset because I had a hard time when I came home. We were filming in Atlanta for a month, and we had a consistent job every day. I was fortunate enough, and I'm grateful, and this is the first time this has happened to me in 13 years, where when I got back home, I had another job, but most of my castmates had to start auditioning again, and we're auditioning while we were filming, so it's not even like you can enjoy a job. You have to already think, okay, what am I going to do after this? So he was like, I went through kind of a depression a little bit, and I was really upset that my friends didn't reach out to me and didn't check on me to say, are you okay? How are you feeling? And, I have sort of a resentment. And I said to him, I'm like, are they actors? Because they're probably trying to figure out their own life right now. You just got back from a job. They weren't working that whole time. So instead of being frustrated, just ask them, are you okay? This is how you usually act towards me. I'm not getting that from you. What's going on? And, he didn't think about it that way, which we all do. We're so used to, even me, like sometimes I don't hear from my pastor, not understanding that, he has to help run a church. I'm not his only priority.
Yeah.
Everyone's going through stuff. And he has 2 kids,
Yeah. And I always remind people, I'm just like, if you're struggling to see the support from others, just realize that most of those people can't support themselves.
Exactly.
Like just taking care of yourself is such hard work.
Such hard work, yeah.
And just recognizing everyone has limits, everyone has boundaries.
And sometimes you support so many other people that you don't find the time for yourself, and then you're running on empty.
Yeah, and then you have nothing to give.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, super important. Okay, I'm going to ask you my last 5 big questions.
Okay.
No, it's not scary. It's just last 5 minutes, last 5 questions. I always do in every episode of every podcast. I want to ask you, what's the most meaningful thing you're working on in 2019?
Mendes versus Westminster.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it in 2019? Or no, we're not going to see it
No, probably
for a
not.
while.
Probably
exactly.
not. Yeah, I'm really focusing on finding the right writer to write the script because I really want it true to the story.
What are you doing for the most fun in 2019?
The most fun in 2019, well, I just moved in with my boyfriend, so that's just a new chapter that I think will be really fun in decorating our house.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to do some tips on where to shop.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at all of your stuff like, oh, this is cute. This is great.
Nice. I'm glad. That makes me feel better.
Yeah, and I think a lot more traveling. I haven't traveled at all.
Ooh, not anywhere specific?
We really want to go to Thailand. We talked about India.
We should go together.
I would love that.
That would be amazing.
You would be the best tour guide.
That would be amazing.
I'm going to tell him.
We should talk about that, yeah.
So, I mean, this actually brings up another topic, which I know we have 5 minutes, but...
No, we don't know. We've got loads of time.
Okay.
If you got more to talk about, go for it. I don't even know if
I was...
We've got loads of time. Oh, we got time. I just want to get you out on time.
Okay.
I've got time.
2019, we want to travel more. I'm 30 years old, and I have not traveled much, and I'm embarrassed to say that because I suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out. And I was too scared to leave town because I was scared of missing out on an audition, or I was scared of missing out on a possible job, or what if, or a party, or this gathering. And I'm sad because I'm 30 and I haven't done anything. I'm like, I have nothing to talk about. And then sometimes I'll do interviews. They'll be like, what's your favorite place to travel to? And I don't have one. If I've traveled, it's for work. So I'm really, 2019, I'm looking forward to like, saying, okay, I'm going to travel and this is what I'm doing. And I know there's certain actors that have missed out on really big movie roles because they traveled, but I think they're grateful that they took the time for themselves rather than, getting that job opportunity, which is a career changer, but they also have other opportunities to have career changers.
Yeah, and you're not old.
I'm not.
Exactly.
But I hate that I haven't traveled. Like I've had the means to and I just haven't.
Well, it's great. Now you just got to make up for it.
Yeah.
Now you got to make up for it.
Yeah, and I have someone to do it with. I have a travel buddy now.
Which is a beautiful thing to have.
Yeah.
Like, as in, it's exciting that all those, I don't know before, but all those times when you could have traveled, it's kind of more meaningful now. So.
It is more meaningful now, but even before, I was so jealous some friends would go to Hawaii by themselves just to do yoga. And I was like, oh, I wish I could. I just could never leave.
Right.
And I was just so used to being stuck in my bubble. I think part of it was my childhood because my dad didn't let us do anything. So we were just stuck in our house, and I think breaking free from that was really hard for me. Like I can't sleep over at people's houses. I was never allowed to do any sleepovers, so I'm like, no, I'll drive home. I'll Uber. It's fine. I have to be in my bed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we're gonna break that one.
Oh, I don't know. I like my bed.
That one you like. That one you like. Someone's gonna have to like transfer your bed.
Yeah, I can't sleep over at anyone's
Wow.
house. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Nice. Okay. Third big question was around. So we asked you the most meaningful, the most fun. The third one I was actually going to ask you earlier. You mentioned a book. Do you read a lot?
I try to. I haven't read as much as I've been wanting to because I mostly read scripts. My favorite book right now is called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It's a Christian book. Right. I've read that one 4 times.
Wow.
Life-changing.
Redeeming Love?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's about a story in the Bible. And it's, oh gosh, I can't remember their characters. I remember their book characters, not in the Bible, but remember about the guy God told to marry a prostitute. It's that story, but told from her perspective. And I've gotten 4 different messages from it because of each time that I've read it. At first, the first time I read it, because I was in such a broken place, I thought it was a love story between the 2 people. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. They fell in love, all this stuff. And then the second time I read it, I was like, oh, this is a love story between her and God, not him. He was just a vehicle in order to get her in a relationship with God, which I threw the book. I was like, whoa. And then the third time I read it, there's a small part in the book, and I threw it again. Where
this book's in bad condition.
Yeah, it is. Where one of the characters was asking her, the lead character, her name is Angel, did you know you could say no? I threw the book. Because I was like, wow, she had a choice to say no, but she didn't know how to. And it was just, I learned a lot from it. And it helped me grow a lot as a Christian reading this book and as a woman.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
And fourth question, before we get to the fifth, the fourth question, 13 years in the industry, all of this experience, seeing your family, your father, what's your advice to young creatives, young artists, actors, actresses, musicians?
Get used to the word no and be okay with it. It's a lot of hard work. And I think just enjoy the process of it. It's not easy. You're going to have times where you're the lead of a TV show and then you don't work for 4 years. And don't make it your be-all, end-all game. Have a hobby, have other things going on. One thing that I wish I did and I didn't do, and it's still something I want to do, is I didn't go to college because I didn't think I needed to. And I let an ex tell me that I shouldn't. Because why do you need college? It's stupid. You're going to be an actress anywhere. You're working as an actress. And so I wish I had other things to fall back on. Like there are other things that I'm very interested in, and I put a lot of my energy in it, which helps me kind of better myself as an artist. So have other hobbies, be okay with no, and always study. Rita Moreno told me, stay in school, acting school. She goes, I still go to acting school. She's in her 80s. You always study your craft. Just like a doctor, you want them to study medicine every day and be up to game. You should study your craft just as much.
Yeah, because you're dealing with lives too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, literally, you have to really understand human behavior in order to do what we do.
Yeah.
Which you have to really open up your emotions and be vulnerable, because the only reason I can cry on cue is because I've literally tapped into the pain that I've gone through and I've used it in my art, which is painful.
I love that you said that, because I studied human behavior at business school. Behavioral science was what I focused on. And all of my content, all of my videos is made from that perspective. That's exactly what I'm trying to tap into whenever I'm making in much smaller way than you are, but in any content that I'm making, that's always my goal, to really understand
People.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you have
and
to.
And fifth question, what did we not talk about that you wish we did that we can talk about next time?
Life Size 2.
Yes.
Wait, when is this coming out?
Let's talk about it now.
Yeah.
This comes out like February, March.
Oh, well, it already aired. So Life Size 2, I was able to work with Tyra Banks, who I've admired since I was a little girl, on one of my favorite childhood movies. So check that out.
Let's talk about it. We've got a bit of time. What time have we got?
Okay. Yeah, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I guess Tyra was really looking for this character for a really long time. A lot of people like to say that I replaced Lindsay Lohan. I did not replace her. This is a brand new character. Since it's airing in February, I can talk about it. It's known that Eve is a doll, and there's a doll for everyone, and there's a serial number that's under her foot. So this is a new Eve doll that comes into my life, a broken young woman who kind of just needs that push to grow up and be herself and, go through that pain and kind of grow out of it. And Eve helps her through that. And I was very honored that Tyra came across my tape somehow. I didn't audition for it. And mind you, I talked about wanting to do a movie before I was shooting season 2 of Grownish. And I got a phone call randomly one day as I'm getting my nails done, like, hey, Life Size 2, are you interested? I was like, what? They're doing another one? One, I was excited, but two, I was like, what part? And it was the lead with Tyra Banks. I was like, what? What is my life right now? Are you joking me? I would have never thought when I was 12 years old watching this movie. So it was really fun working with her and getting to know her and just being in Atlanta and now being part of my favorite childhood movies. It's crazy to me.
Amazing. Huge fan. And also it's the beauty of everything we just talked about now, like full circle. You weren't looking for it. You didn't audition for it.
No, I wasn't looking for it at all. And it's crazy because one of our producers worked on Dear White People. She is one of the producers of Dear White People, and I shot about 3 episodes. And the very first director I worked with on Dear White People, his name is Steven Sashida. I remember our first day. He just has amazing energy. I was like, you're like one of my favorite people. And my castmates made me feel like I was so weird for saying that. And it was just like too much too soon. And then he was a director on Grownish, and then he directed Life Size 2. And I was like, I knew it! Like there was something there, and everyone thought it was weird, but I just knew that there was he was just so special.
Yeah, amazing. I met Tyra for the first time recently.
Oh, really? Where?
Yeah. I was at this Continuum conference, which was a social media creator and influencer conference. Just a small collection of us. And she was invited, and she keynoted and did
she's
a panel
amazing,
for all of
isn't
us. She's got an incredible presence, and I think we forget how huge she just has an understanding and knowledge on so many different things.
Yeah.
She's so much.
She works really hard, and all her success is so well deserved and earned. She's very plugged into everything. She was so plugged into our movie and really wanting it to. Well, because I'm an old fan. I grew up with it, so she really wanted to cater to us OG fans, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, amazing. Well, all the success for them. I'm so excited for it as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not so focused on I want to do this, I want to do that. I know where I want to go and I know where I want to be, and I'm just kind of letting God take the ride for it. So did I know I was going to be a voice for the Latin community? No, never thought. But that's where I'm heading, and I've been very passionate about it, and I really like it.
Amazing. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This was fun.
You're the best. I know, it's so much fun, and your energy is awesome, and I'm excited. I always feel like these interviews are great because even if I've never spoken to someone, you get to learn about each other so quickly in such a short period of time. But I'm excited to continue our friendship.
Yeah, same.
Excited to meet Christian, and
Yeah.
just so grateful that you came. Thank you so much.
I'm excited to do yoga with your wife and kickboxing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for
No,
coming.
thank you.
Honestly,
This was
so
great.
touched.
This was
Thank
great.
you.
All right. Thanks,
Amazing.
guys.
If you want even more videos just like this one, make sure you subscribe and click on the boxes over here. I'm also excited to let you know that you can now get my book, Think Like a Monk, from thinklikeamonkbook.com. Check below in the description to make sure you order today.